Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Can you hear us? I didn't even check the audio. Yep, everything looks good.
Everything.
All righty.
Everything.
What's
was
that?
awesome.
Oh, no, never mind.
No, we're good. We're live. Not Cool in High School, bi-weekly. Here we are. If you guys like what you hear, we'll get the stuff out of the way. My volumes are so low. There
That
we
sounds
go.
good here.
No,
Good.
No,
it's
my
low.
ears.
I think it's
I'm low.
Sounding
my ears.
stellar.
Links below. You can
Yeah.
check out the merch pages. Check all that stuff out. If you are watching this right now, what's up, Alexis? Happy birthday, real quick,
Yeah,
to
happy
our
birthday! Yeah.
to
Happy
our
birthday.
day one,
Birthday.
number one, Alexis here. Always been supporting the show since the beginning. If you are watching this, hit that share button. Let people know that this is.
Thing.
What
are you doing? What are you doing?
I was confused too.
Yeah.
Hit the
Just
share
as bad as
button.
me.
Let people know that this is a thing. Like I said, links below for merch pages. If you are following on any platforms, like, shares, and subscribes definitely help out.
Bang bang. Yeah.
Yeah, this I'm gonna be honest. I ran to grab Billy real quick, so I'm like off my game a few seconds here.
No.
So it's gonna take me a
It's
couple
okay.
minutes to get
Get
in.
acclimated, man.
Um,
Get
Adjust
acclimated.
to the.
That's why you have.
Anyone
a
have video
crew.
game news?
Why you-
I have a few,
Why are
but
you drinking the lightest beer that's ever been?
it is a,
Because it's a
a
lager.
That looks
It's
like
a
you took
Pilsner.
it looked like you filled up
It's
a hero with
a-
water, right? And then you filled up the hero with beer and then put water in the rest.
Yeah,
You
it
know, like
does
when
look
someone
like
gets
that.
low on Windex, like we'll just fill it with water.
like-
It doesn't work that way.
It looks like my pee every morning after I drink a bunch of beers.
Yeah, it's cloudy pea.
So, well, I have a few news things. I guess the big one is.
oh yeah, I know.
Xbox is well. Real quick, how does it sound, Alexis? You're our guide here. How does
Yeah.
how does the stream look and sound? I should probably look at that real quick and see how we're standing. Hold on.
On PlayStation, they made it where. Oh
All right,
Jesus! I
sounds
was like,
good.
what's going on?
Sounds good.
I was gonna say
I'm into
the PlayStation Now games, you don't have to subscribe anymore if you just want to buy one.
Oh,
you know
okay.
How, Xbox was doing that for years. They finally switched that over. So if you
Oh,
just
so like you can now download old titles off their marketplace.
yeah, they'll charge us whatever price instead of like I don't want to pay.
Yeah,
for
the
service, so I'll
$15
never
a month
use
or
it.
whatever. Yeah.
So if there's like I don't know Darkstalkers 2, I could just go and buy that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's pro
That's really
consumer.
good,
I'm
yeah.
for that.
They haven't done that. I always thought like, why aren't they doing that? Like I understand like you want people to buy PlayStation Now, but they're still like, oh, you get 100 games for a month for $15. Why do you want
How
100
many-
games?
How many PlayStation exclusives are on PlayStation Now right now?
Like the old ones?
No, like current.
Oh, I have no idea. I
Like-
never look at it.
Can you play God of War 3?
I would think so. Yeah, it's been out for like 2 years.
I would be very interested to see. If anyone is watching, comment below if you guys have PlayStation Now.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't-
very.
I don't
Oh,
mess with
because
it.
you're curious about like how Xbox has the
Yeah, I think
gold
that-
shit,
I think
and then
that-
you could play brand new games pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a big deal. And even if they're not exclusive, Xbox kind of goes out to get the rights for the game to
I
put on
was
Game Pass.
surprised that they put NBA 2K20 out, considering all the reviews that I heard on it. I was like, really? Well, I mean, that would make sense though. If it's a game that's already not selling to
Is
its
that
potential,
The
that's the
that
one that they
took a
said
break for a
wasn't.
while?
Yeah. Well, no, the NBA 2K20 was the basketball one where they were like, this one is just not good. Like, I don't know what happened. It had a lot of bad reviews, and people that were coming into my job were like, I don't like this at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the
And
rest of
2K
them.
is the one. 2K is the one that was like the ideal one. Oh
Mhm.
shit! And then you have Live, which was like the one where it was like more simulatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simulation based.
yeah.
And the crazy thing is they're going to come off this year of making not the greatest basketball game, and they're going to charge an extra $20 more.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
NBA 2K is going to be a $7 game when you buy it.
Why?
Wow.
A joke.
Yep.
Oh,
They
oh,
said it's justifiable. Now, Ubisoft has already come out and said we're not changing our prices. I believe EA has come out and said we're not changing the $6 price tag.
Which is weird because EA is the fuck. Well, no, 2K. Never
2K,
mind. My
yeah.
bad. Yeah. No.
so,
you-
Yeah, it
so,
was the
so
big dog.
2K is the 1st
Mhm.
one to really come out and say, because when 2K did it, everyone's like, everyone's going to do it now. And
yeah,
a lot of
no
companies
one's
are like,
gonna be
no,
yeah.
we're not really
Does it-
interested.
Are
Did
they
they say
gonna?
why they're just for the new system?
They said that because of its next gen, they're just trying to dip their toes in and saying there's so much content in this game that it's justifiable. I'm sorry, I love sports games, but I'm at the point where I don't buy. First time probably ever, I'm not going to buy Madden day one.
Yeah,
this
if it's just gonna be a roster update, you can update it on your own.
I'm over
Yeah.
it. I'm
You
fucking
can
over
really
it. Like,
just
and you could
fucking-
just wait
That
like
should
a
be
couple
like-
weeks and buy it used.
yeah.
Do you guys
There you
remember?
go.
Do you guys remember? It was like 2013 or 2012 when you could literally download the roster updates. They would like update the game online. You could download roster updates so that you could play the next year's fucking
Yeah,
teams
yeah.
anyway. And
Yep.
it was like
And the games aren't that different. Even the wrestling games weren't that
Yeah.
different.
The
Unless
only-
they
the
totally
only-
changed the controls.
the only games where I really thought made changes were the wrestling games and NHL.
Okay.
That actually added to the fucking thing. Madden took away because in the last Madden you could only play like 2v2 online or something like that. You could only have one other teammate or some shit. And I was like, why?
Mhm.
Madden always was like 4 players.
Well,
on a team.
they did put an update out now with it's kind of like with what they try to do with the NHL and stuff, where there's like a 3-on-3 version.
Oh,
it's
like
still
an
it's still a full roster on the field, which I think is kind of stupid. Like
yeah.
they need to, like how NHL and FIFA kind of added the street
yeah, like
versions
full
back.
teams type
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So I don't know. NHL I think is a game that I'm probably gonna get day one this year. There's a lot coming up this year that I'm excited about. That's one of the topics tonight. But the main thing for me that I really want to hammer home tonight, and this is not an anti-PlayStation, anti-Xbox, is there's things that are concerning to me on both companies. Now, I think going into this next gen, I mean, I may sound biased, but I'm more leaning towards the Xbox even harder now, because I think as a consumer, I think Xbox is doing more for me as the consumer. So right now the big thing is, I guess the big news, the Avengers game is coming out. Very 50-50. Some people are loving it, some people are hating it, some people are not enjoying it.
Comes out next month, I think.
Yeah.
September.
Well, there's like a
12th?
demo beta out, and I think there's
Yeah.
early access for
Yeah,
PlayStation.
I really enjoyed it. I got.
Who
to
could you
play it.
play as?
So, dude, it's sick. In my opinion, it's sick, and it's literally like all that you could want in a superhero game. Every character feels
Oh, you can
like
play
an
as everybody?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
individual character.
Oh, that's
So
neat.
it starts you out like every story game does, and not every, but like
Yeah.
you're Thor. It's
Okay.
exactly the fucking commercial that they show where it's like, oh, Iron Man's here, and it's Avengers Day, and Thor is apparently dead, but you don't know that yet, I
No.
guess. It's
Spoiler alert.
Oh no!
Well,
It's
he's
not
not,
really
'cause you
a
play
spoil.
as him.
It's the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the game. It shows like his hammer at like some type of what's it called, memorial thing.
Okay, yeah.
And then he's like walking by, and then you see his hand, and there's a fucking reporter reporting like, "Oh, there's some mischief happening," and it's like, who's gonna save us? And then Thor's like, "But why?" And then
they're like,
you-
oh shit.
yeah, and you end up on the bridge as Thor, and then you fight through that, and Iron Man comes in and starts helping Thor.
Yeah,
so
because
you
it's
play
two-player
as
co-op
Iron
at the
Man.
same time.
I don't think
Well,
at the beginning.
Yeah,
but
but
I
it
think
says
that's
eventually.
like
It
yeah,
says it's
yeah.
in the game, which I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
And so
Yeah.
you play it goes Thor, Iron Man, Hulk,
Black Widow.
yeah,
Cap.
Black Widow, and
You're-
then Cap.
And
So-
no Miss Marvel.
I don't know.
I would think they're gonna hold that
not
off
in
till.
not in the demo, but
Yeah.
pretty much but trying to break it down a little more. When those events are happening in the game, you're pretty much playing as just that character.
Yeah.
One of the things I guess that they're saying is maybe it's going to change. I don't know, but it's not like Ultimate Alliance where you hit the button over and you make a 4-man stable.
Yeah,
of a
not
team.
at the beginning at least.
Oh,
So
okay.
You can't. So it's
I'm
pretty.
okay with that. Like,
They
if
said
you-
it's very on rails though.
But
which
here's
is,
the thing. It's
So
like
meaning you
it's
complete
fucking,
with one character and then
Yeah,
you
play it
switch over
again.
to the next
But
character.
it's not like
that
it's not
on
like a
rails,
level
okay.
though. Like you're not playing one single level as a character. Like when I was playing as
It's
Thor,
segments.
I'm fighting and shit, and then out of nowhere, like this camera view to Iron Man comes in, and then
It's
you're like
cinematic.
Iron Man all of a sudden. It's like
Oh.
whoa.
Yeah.
That's
like
cool.
It's a very cinematic done.
yeah.
Avengers.
And
game.
it doesn't feel like there's a lot of load time. Like obviously you can tell the difference between cutscene and gameplay,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
you can't tell when the cutscene goes into gameplay. Because as Black Widow, like you're running and you're chasing Taskmaster, and like she just starts running, and then you don't know when you take over. It just happens.
Just,
And
like,
so
stops.
that's the only part I didn't like, is because you immediately fail if you don't know
Yeah.
that you're playing right there.
I think one of the people, like some of the big feedback is a lot of people think it's very clustered and it's very it doesn't like how everything you're saying that sounds like positive for
Yeah.
you. That's where some of the people have the negative connotation.
Because they
too.
think it's like chaotic and like you don't know what's
yeah,
happening.
I think what
I
people
thought
were
it was gonna be like
expecting
Devil May
was
Cry, you know?
yeah,
But
well,
one
I-
character. But
Yeah.
it says co-op too. 'cause,
Yeah,
I
I
know
think
my
people
tech
were
runner
expecting
asked
like an Ultimate Alliance style game where everyone could pick you could pick your team and kind of adjust things accordingly, and it's more just like, well, these are the guys that are here and you can't change it.
Well, the thing is though, it's
Well, I didn't get that.
they're
Like, I was
trying
like, if you
to-
thought that, I think you're kind of an idiot because, like, clearly, when it was at New York Comic Con, I was like, who would you like to play as? Well, knowing that, you do not make a team.
And you know that
But
the
don't-
roster,
but
and you know
but
that
you
the
don't
roster.
pick who you play as. Like the game pretty much tells you
Well,
with this story, you're now the Hulk.
Oh,
I
I'm
think
okay with
I
that.
think it's just the beginning though,
Yeah.
because the amount of the roster that they show off, I don't think that you're gonna play as just that 5 characters, but maybe.
Well, they're gonna.
I know you're gonna
yeah.
be as like the. Is it Miss Marvel?
Yeah,
Who's
well,
the
yeah,
girl?
yeah, that's
the
the-
girl.
yeah.
That's Miss
Yeah.
Marvel in this.
I
one?
just hope they at some point in the game they let you get off the rails a little bit and you can maybe explore the map because
I
from what I heard
expect
it's
you
very
to.
on rails.
If it's Square Enix, I think Square Enix is actually doing the game.
Yeah.
If
See, I
they
don't think
actually
they're-
do that,
I don't think there is a map. I think it's levels. I'm okay. That's how Devil May
Yeah.
Cry is.
if levels will be okay, but it'll be better, like a sandbox type style, kind of like that new Final
Not full
Fantasy.
sandbox.
Not full sandbox,
But
but
like-
like enough to move around.
Like
and
Ultimate Alliance
look around.
is very
and all.
on rails, but it's a
Yeah.
big enough stage that you go around and smash things, look for things.
Mhm.
Well, that's what
solve
that's what I
puzzles.
think it's gonna be.
That's what I hope.
I don't think it's gonna. I think that the beta specifically in the first it's just an introductory to all the characters.
Yeah.
My least favorite character is the Hulk because he's just kind of it just feels like they just were like, oh,
It's the
running.
Hulk.
You're playing as a giant ape.
Well, you're not. You can't. At least I don't remember because I was playing it, but it was mainly my brother playing it, and you don't really pick up much shit and throw it. You're more or less like, oh, look at me, I'm climbing on things and jumping to cars and
You're a
like
giant monkey.
and at one point like he picks up a tank. And there's like a dude falls out of the tank and he's like crawling back and he's like, oh shit. And then the Hulk kicks him off the bridge. It's really funny. And I was like, oh, this might not be geared towards kids at all. That was the one down point that I might have is
Yeah.
like that it's not very like E for everyone.
Okay.
I don't think it's a day. I don't think it's a day one right away for me.
No.
You know, I'm definitely gonna hold off and see because even when it comes to their DLC plans, it seemed like they're very still like kind of up in the air what they're gonna do.
And they even
First-
had issues with that game then in the first. People
Yeah.
were like, yeah.
Yeah, how they
The
look.
look,
They,
the
they
look,
did make the
yeah.
characters look better. They
Yeah.
said they weren't going
Oh
to.
yeah,
and they
it
did on
looks
the slide.
it looks like the it looks like the movie.
First
characters,
DLC
pretty
character is
much, yeah.
Hawkeye. Then PlayStation gets a bunch of exclusive skins.
Mhm.
Depending on what the skins are, that could be good or bad. I mean,
it's skins. It don't affect the game.
they
don't
don't
care.
affect the game, but if you can get a classic suit that that's like a fucking, like you could make Gray Hulk, but you
Yeah.
can only be Gray Hulk on
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that'll be a big
I don't
problem.
think they would do that. I think they would do more so with the
Or do what
thing that
Ultimate-
you're about to bring up.
Do what Ultimate
Probably.
Alliance did, and all the extra skins were like solid, all white
all
or all
shit.
black. They're dark. They're
Yeah.
horrible.
Well, that
Yeah.
third game's not good at all.
yeah.
That's kind of why
Um,
I didn't like the Spider-Man PlayStation. Like, I mean, the skins were cool, but I felt like some of them were just like, oh,
There were
it's
some
just
lame
another,
ones, yeah.
it's just an
Yeah.
like red version of this
Yeah.
or
A
whatever.
rehash.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the DLC of Spider-Man. It's going to be
Mhm.
exclusive to PlayStation. Listen, I get it. Like, exclusive games are exclusive games, right? But I feel like as a consumer, when companies, because this is going to do is I feel like it's going to start a shitstorm. Because then I guess for another thing to kind of piggyback on this is right now what's going on is I think PlayStation, because their game cycles are a little behind and they want to put content out for their system, which I understand. I mean, you want to make your system to look, to have like it has value. They're gonna snatch. The rumor is they're trying to snatch up developers to make timed exclusive for their games. Now, when Xbox did it, I wasn't a fan of it. Where PlayStation didn't get to enjoy like Tomb Raider until like a week ago. You know what I mean? Like I don't see a world where that's, I don't know,
Necessary?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like listen, I understand that's how business works and that's how you drive people to get to your system if they really want to play that game. But I just wish that's not the way business is done. Like, oh, if you want to play this mobile game, you have to have an iPhone. Like, I just think we're at that point now. It's just so fucking stupid. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I at the point where I feel like systems are now taking the step where we all want to play together. Everyone is screaming they want cross-platform. PlayStation has come out and said we are for the gamer. Xbox was like, well, now we're trying to be for the gamer, and they turn around and like, well, now we're going to do this thing where we're going to splice the game world in half and buy up exclusive DLC, so we split the game apart. That our systems only have certain things, and when someone else plays on another system, they don't have it. So now, if cross-platform becomes a thing on that system, you're going to be like, oh, well, we got that cool stuff, and it's just more separation. And me personally, like, I know you guys have different opinions on it. I'm not a fan of it. It's not. I want to be pro-consumer regardless of what system you're buying for.
I think it's all pro-consumer. Because, like, if you have a game that's only on Xbox, and I have Xbox, I don't care.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty.
If I really want to buy it, I'll buy the system. But
but-
if I don't, and if they say, hey, it's
Yeah.
coming to PlayStation a year, I'll wait.
I think the only thing is gonna be it's gonna be easier for you to buy a Xbox console for cheap than it will be for a PlayStation console for
Yeah,
cheap.
yeah.
So
To
it's
make
gonna
like
be
a-
it's
that
gonna be
arcade
way
version.
easier. It's gonna be way easier for you to be like, oh, there's a game on Xbox I want. All right, here's 200 for that one that doesn't maybe have a controller or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
PlayStation's I don't think that they're going for the cheap fucking
No.
like, oh
Yeah.
hey, here's the
But
thing.
I think like if you're a big gamer, you're not buying that
I
shitty
just-
version.
I
You're
just
gonna
think,
buy the full
well,
version.
no, if you think about it though, the
I
way
don't-
that
I'm
they've
not gonna
been-
buy no shitty version that's like a half-ass system.
I feel like they've been throwing out a lot of big dick energy, but now they're like trying to overcompensate by being like, "Yo, free DLC for this character." Like they don't. It seems like they don't have anything
Yeah.
that's very much gonna keep you there. They don't got a streaming service that's necessary. The only thing that they have is like, oh, you can maybe stream to Twitch, but maybe the new consoles won't have streaming direct.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be like,
think they
yo,
would.
buy. But like that's the thing though too is like, what do they make off of you streaming to Twitch? What does Sony make off of you streaming to Twitch?
Nada.
Do they make
That's
anything?
I don't think.
And then what if they do? Oh, here's the Sony console stream, fucking $20,
They had
$75.
something. I forget what it was.
Well,
I never used it.
Elgato has it. Elgato has a bunch of HD capture cards and
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
But like, what if you have your Sony stream where it's like all PlayStation players, and then they like cut off their access of streaming? Like, this is a completely different thing. But like,
Once
it
again,
seems
more
like
separation. I hate it.
it seems like they're going for like, oh, what's gonna make us money and nobody else?
Yes.
And
yeah, but
Or
that's their-
how can we charge our consumers unnecessary money that they probably don't have
But
to do?
why would you want to help your competitor out?
it's not. It's the fact of like
If you're
destroying the
boast-
competitive
if-
shit.
Yeah, if you're
anyway.
boasting yourself as that you're for the consumer and for the gamer,
Yeah.
Nobody.
they've been
is.
doing the exact opposite, in my opinion. And I just think once we get into that cutthroat business, like I know, and like how you were saying before, like it doesn't matter to me with the DLC or this, but like as someone who is an online gamer and we play online games together with other people, if when you play online, you're like. I don't know. I just don't like that division. I want us to be on. I want everyone to have.
Why
the
do I
same
have to buy a
experience.
different console to play with my friends that I just maybe
Yeah.
didn't know that they had that console or
Oh, wait,
whatever?
Yeah.
wait.
Come on. Now.
You know what? What Tony's gonna buy, right?
I know what he's gonna buy, but
I'm,
what
I'm
if
actually buying both.
yeah.
But I mean, like,
So he's
come on.
lucky. It doesn't matter.
if all
like-
your friends buy one system and you buy the other,
Well,
they're not the
for
idiot.
me, it's just different because like I have friends that play PC,
Yeah.
and then sometimes they will buy a console, but they're not gonna say that they bought a
Yeah.
console because they're
Okay.
so proud of
I
fucking
don't know.
About
whatever.
PC.
I don't know. I like separation. If not for separation, then they're all one.
Exactly.
Then just have
it's
one
just
system.
communism in the console business, but like
Yeah.
it's fine.
Listen, I dig the ecosystem. Like if you have a PlayStation and you're into the PlayStation ecosystem, you're into the PlayStation dashboard, you prefer that controller, and you prefer maybe their handful of
Yeah.
exclusives.
He's
then-
not saying
then
that
I
the
think-
exclusives should be on all platforms.
Yes.
He's just saying that games with multiplayer, why
If-
does it
if I
matter?
Oh,
make
you
it-
mean the Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So yeah, when I say when
yeah.
I'm talking about this, I'm not saying that the Spider-Man, the God of War should be on Xbox. I
Right.
think exclusive games for systems
Keep
are
your
more-
exclusives.
That's where your
but
separation
your-
is good.
But your
Yeah, but I'm
third-party
saying-
games all combo
Yeah,
If you
with
turn around
cross
and say I'm buying
crossplay,
Madden
yeah.
this year, but Madden gets 5 historical teams on PlayStation and 5 historical teams on Xbox, I don't like that. What you're doing is you're taking a game and you're shopping like back in the day when you bought the Raw game for Sega and Nintendo, and Sega had the Ultimate Warrior and the other one had Hulk Hogan.
That's
don't
bullshit.
I don't like that.
Why?
Are you? There's people. I bought every Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
I wanted Spawn, but I didn't want to hate Hachi. I didn't give a shit about Hachi. But I wanted Link, so I bought 2 Soul Caliburs.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
what the.
Now
But it's
let-
like what the fuck.
I didn't buy a brand new. I waited.
However, I don't think that's entirely on like Xbox or Sony. That could be the game development company.
No,
that's like
the
that's
company
like
turning
yo.
around and saying,
Greasing the palms a
Yeah,
little
he could
bit,
be
yeah.
like, yo, what character can you guys give? And like, let's try to make you all money
yeah.
Like-
in a specific way.
And they'll be like, Namco's like, well, we can sneak in Spawn here for another 25 grand.
Yeah.
or
But like at the
whatever,
same
but-
time, like still, you should be able to fight your friends online
yeah.
yeah.
Now-
if with significant characters. Whatever.
Now here's another problem I have with the Spider-Man thing. Now I know we had the debate in the group chat and on the page that this Spider-Man is part of that universe, right?
Mhm.
Now if you're someone who is a Marvel fan, right? You're a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. Are you not annoyed that we want superheroes together and we can't because the rights are all over the place? So now you want that in your video games as well?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, I don't think they want that.
But
They do
you're
because
causing it,
because
though.
like the Team Sony people are like, yay, we have Spider-Man. Fuck you, Xbox. But like, is that the
fuck
flag?
you, everybody.
Yeah,
fuck you, everyone.
I mean, it comes down to the consoles, and the only
Yeah.
two that are really competing right now are Xbox.
True,
but
but-
you're really gonna tote that flag just to have your brand support thing. But when you watch your movies, you're like, this is bullshit. That Spider-Man's part of Sony. You make no sense. Like, do you really want to get to the point now in your video games? Like if Xbox turns around and the rumor is they're looking to buy Warner Brothers games now, and they make a Justice League game, right? So Justice League game, but now Batman is exclusive to Xbox. So you're gonna make a fucking Justice League game and take out Batman only for Xbox?
But they didn't take out Spider-Man. They added Spider-Man.
Yeah, but it's still
They
the
didn't take
same.
anything out of
it's
the game.
Still the
It's just a
same
bonus.
thing,
but then on
though.
Xbox, Batman won't be a crucial part of the game because
Yeah, but
he's a
Spider-Man,
DLC
Spider-Man's
character.
not a crucial part of the game.
But he
It's
could
just-
be if they put him for everybody.
But he's not. No, if they put him for everybody, you'd both have added DLC.
And here's
It'd be
another
like-
here's
true.
another thing to
It'd be
even
like
think
Arkham
about.
Asylum. You could download Nightwing, right? But you couldn't play with him in the game. He's just them stupid challenge maps.
However,
For
you
both
could
systems.
no.
I'm just
no,
saying,
you
if
could,
a
though.
developer's going into making their game, right, and they're saying, all right, well, here's what we want to do story-wise, and then they say, well, listen, hey, if you want to add Wolverine and then this person or this person in the future, or even part 2 of the game,
Yeah.
by the way, now Spider-Man is not going to be he's only exclusive to one system.
Yeah.
So as a developer, you're going in, well, I can't make him Spider-Man cannot save the day in the main story
But
because he's exclusive to
thing.
one. You're pigeonholing yourself.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't put Spider-Man in an Avengers game.
He eventually becomes an Avenger.
Yeah, but not now. Like right now in the comics, he's not.
Are you,
He
are you
was.
you're saying
I
that
wouldn't put Wolverine
are
in
you,
the
are
Avengers
you
game.
you're saying that like
I wouldn't put
like
Avengers
in the
in.
the future maybe, but like the point is though, like in that future, you know that in the future that's gonna happen is there will
but
never
not
be a
necessarily.
Spider-Man.
I mean, everyone joined the Avengers at some point.
Exactly,
yeah.
Not everyone's going to be.
But
in the
not
game.
like it's
Yeah.
not. They're not part of like
You know,
a main
like-
stable. They're in for a couple of
Yeah,
years.
like,
It's kind of
like
like
the Fantastic
they're
Four.
like
is
it's like a
Xbox only,
part-time
but, like,
job, pretty much.
Well, the Fantastic Four shouldn't be in the Avengers
and then
game.
yeah,
Like,
but
yeah,
the thing
it's
is
only a
though
bonus.
too is like then what's the exclusive for Xbox?
it should be
There's none.
Wolverine.
There is none.
There's
Yeah.
none.
You can't do that because Microsoft doesn't own rights to fucking
To-
comic
to-
book
to nobody, yeah.
characters.
It's
Well,
weird-
don't forget, like even with like with the deals that they were making, Marvel and Sony,
yeah.
like they could say like, well, okay, well, we want to have Spider-Man exclusive specifically to our video games, and then thinking with the Avengers game, oh fuck it, we're gonna throw our card out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't know what they actually said in those meetings. Like
And-
it's like we got it in the Marvel universe, cinematic universe.
I just
But at the
hope
very
he-
same time,
But
though,
for video
you can
games,
use it for
you don't
anybody.
you licensed a certain thing. Like,
And-
let's say they
But
wanted
I'm just,
Daredevil.
but I'm just saying though.
They didn't license Daredevil.
Yeah.
But I'm
So
just
they would
saying,
have to
though,
license
Andy.
Daredevil to add him in.
No, but I'm
But
just
if
saying.
somebody beat him
though.
to the punch, it's not
Right.
like we want to license all the characters because that costs way more.
Right, because Sony probably just said like,
Yeah.
"Yo, we just want specifically Spider-Man in our video games on our system."
Well,
and
they
they
want the
probably gonna
Spider-Man
talk
game.
about
In the-
like just in general, just
So-
talking about it.
So
you know
you're
what I mean?
building a game, right?
But I'm
And-
just saying,
listen, hear me
like
out.
with the
You're a
deals.
developer. You're
Mhm.
building a game. You have to do the story. You have to do the voice action. You have to do the mocap. You have to put all this, the everything, animation to every character. And now they turn to you and say, "Hey, we'll give you a few extra money, but this character is now exclusive to only one system." Are you going to take time out of your day to make that character just as detailed as the other characters are going to be in every system?
I'm just gonna probably fucking do
You're
the
gonna
best
make- you're
the
gonna
best I can.
You're going to slap a shitty
Exactly.
skin on a shitty polygraphed fucking thing, and you're going to make it look somewhat good, but you're not going to put the same amount
And
of
you're
effort
not
as-
putting
as
any
I said,
detail
best
into the
I
level.
can.
Depends how much you get paid.
I think the problem though
Best
too.
I can.
think
There
the
you
problem
go.
though too is like how we don't know
And-
how detailed this is gonna be, right?
Yeah.
But here's what the fuck? Like, what if they were already creating a Spider-Man sub fucking thing, and then they were just like, oh wait, Sony owns that. We can only put it on
Yeah,
Sony.
but if they lock in-game stuff, that's wrong. Like Street Fighter did
Exactly.
that.
So we don't know exactly like what's
Yeah,
happening
the way
with
I
the
see it, it's
DLC.
DLC, and I'm not
Yeah.
paying. I'm not paying to play Spider-Man.
But what the fuck if
Yeah.
it's 5 levels though? You
Yeah.
know, like what if
I
it's
just think it's-
5
I think it's
levels
a
that are
very
important to
slippery
the
slope.
story?
I
You
think it's a
really,
very
you really
slippery
gotta, you
'Cause
really
here's-
gotta bring the content.
Here's what
in
I'm seeing.
overall.
Here's what I'm
when it
seeing,
comes to
right?
it.
Is it's Avengers Day, A Day,
Mhm.
whatever. They're celebrating it. All this shit goes awry. Now you're playing as Spider-Man for 3 levels, saving people that are getting like, oh, here comes a car from the fucking bridge. You gotta move the people. Like that's probably what it could be. I don't think that they just be like, oh, now you're Spider-Man, go through the
I
city.
think it's gonna be like just insert like, oh, you're watching it happens in that Shadows of Mordor game when you're the girl.
Yeah.
So there was DLC for the girl.
Yeah.
You see the dude come out. All the cutscenes are dude, and then you go to gameplay. You're the girl.
Yeah.
And then anytime you go to a character where she has to talk, she don't talk.
But they
The
can't.
dude
They can't.
talks.
They can't do that with Spider-Man though. If Spider-Man's not swinging webs,
Yeah, I know.
what the
yeah.
fuck is
But,
he
like,
doing?
Yeah, so they
What
have
is
to,
he
they have
doing?
to add the
So
mechanics
they have
in.
to add an
Hostage
exact.
rescue.
They have to add a specific character with a specific set of moves that has
and
to be
you're-
able to do
And
all
you're-
this shit.
And you're
Mhm.
taking away from the work you're putting into your overall game.
No,
Not-
no, not necessarily.
So
you,
if this
you could
game,
have
if this game has bugs, or this
100%
game has
done.
issues, and this game has all these things to make the online work
Mhm.
and this to work, but now you have to build a whole
now you have
separate
to
thing
add
for
an
another
entire
company.
another character
Yeah.
for one specific side.
Yeah.
But what they could do, I
think
don't
it's a
know.
waste
This has been a long topic, but like I think it makes sense because we are all like comic book fans to an
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
But like fucking, they have the Spider-Man game on Sony already. They have it on PlayStation. All they gotta do, take a
Yeah,
chunk from that fucking game.
It's made by
Put
different people though.
If the
Exactly.
engine, if
It's
the
a different
engines
engine.
jive,
If the
Yeah.
engine is
Yeah.
the same engine, then all they got to do is just paste it in there, and it's like, oh, new character. So what are they going to do? Because everyone that's played it, everyone that has a PlayStation knows they're going to get a PlayStation. About to play as Spider-Man, knows that they want to specifically play as Spider-Man for whatever reason. Now they got to learn how to play as Spider-Man all over fucking again, and probably can't even swing through a goddamn city.
yeah, I don't think it's gonna be.
Or-
It ain't gonna be like
or
the Spider-Man game.
What if
Exactly.
No.
It's
now,
gotta be
now it's
limited.
a very sandbox style game. It's not a sandbox style game like Spider-Man. So now you're accustomed to this Spider-Man's mechanics, and now you get a super watered down version of a game to appease a company so they can say they had the exclusive rights, and then you get a shitty version of Spider-Man
And
DLC.
maybe you can't even be Peter Parker.
Well, no, I'm assuming it's just Spider-Man.
So this is
It's
all,
just
this
Spider-Man.
is all speculation, and who knows if the game comes out, the Spider-Man DLC may be awesome. But from what we have done in the past with exclusive characters on games, I wouldn't get your hopes up. That's just me.
It just
personally.
upsets me. Like it just seems pointless to add. It seems pointless to
When
add.
you played Soul Calibur,
Yeah.
did Yoda or any of those other characters feel like they were fully formed
yes.
as everybody else?
Yes.
Yeah, they were totally
Yeah,
different.
Yoda was
like
really
Darth
cool-
Vader was
yeah.
like a heavy character. Yoda was like tough to hit.
Real light.
but
He
you're-
bounced around. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like they should have made
Maybe
a
that
Star
was
Wars
terrible-
fighting game.
That was probably a terrible
But
example.
you
'cause
both
fighting
got
games are a
Star
little
Killer.
different, yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I want to talk about before we like move.
But then
on,
eventually it was
because-
like 2 years later, and then they made it available for the other.
Because
systems.
of
Yeah,
actually
that doesn't bother that. No, if you do that, all right, say hey, right now, this system gets Darth Vader, this person gets Yoda,
Yeah.
but in a year and a half,
yeah, you
they
can-
go on both
Yeah.
systems.
announce it though.
That makes that
But
makes
it
a
won't
lot
even
of
be
sense,
timed for
yeah.
Sony.
The only thing I want to say though is like since I got to play it, like each character has their individual move set specifically to them. When you're playing as Black Widow, you feel like you're playing as a stealth like shooter
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
It feels
Okay.
like completely different games. When you're
Yeah.
playing as Thor, it feels like, oh well, sometimes I'm gonna have to charge up my swing, and throw it. I don't know if you can fly as Thor. They
I would-
didn't.
I
They
would
did
hope
not.
so.
I didn't do that at all. So I don't know what's up with that. Iron Man though, you're flying as him. You can get on the ground. He has his own specific set of moves on
Yeah.
the ground, and then his flight moves
You would
are
think
different.
double jump.
So they made
Right.
them individual. like,
Yeah,
of that
everyone feels
character.
individual. Hulk feels lackluster, and it doesn't fucking matter. And
I mean,
It's
I
the
know.
Hulk.
It's the Hulk. He's
it-
boring anyway.
but it's like you could make the Hulk sick. You could pick up a car. You could tear the car in two. You got two fucking
Yeah, Ultimate
throwable
Destruction
things,
for
right?
regular Xbox.
That
But
was
the-
such
but
a
the
good
problem
game.
the problem is with this new technology, right? So, if say if the game is very like you can only go
Linear,
so far in
yeah.
this way, and you're in a city, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a brick wall in your way.
Well, yeah.
Right.
We
Now
don't
the,
know
now
what's
the
up,
Hulk.
yeah.
Now the Hulk is someone who you beef up. You make your character. He can rip things apart. He can do this, but he can't punch that wall.
And
through.
remember
But
when we
eventually
heard
you're gonna
that?
have to have the wall somewhere.
Remember when
Yeah.
we
So
you're
heard
gonna
that
have to stop.
though
So
in
it
the
is
beginning,
hard to really capture what the hero's abilities are in that style. of
where
game
they were
sometimes.
where they were talking about like, oh, like you can level up your character specifically, but like how do you level up what has specific powers already?
They'll probably do like Ultimate Alliance, where maybe your X button, if you hold down, or it's a
You
different
get a different
style,
move or
or
something,
like,
yeah.
maybe the Hulk can like in the other ones where he only does the smash, but now he could do a jump smash.
Or you start with one and then you
Or
get
like-
combo.
yeah.
It's like Devil May Cry.
That would be
Just
cool,
Or
put
even a
yeah.
more.
skill tree, even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skill
just
tree
put
would probably work
points.
a lot better
Here's
with it.
here's what I'm curious about, and maybe like no one cares about, but like, could we play as like Bruce Banner and like
No.
fucking?
It's just all heroes.
and watch
Do you
him
think it's
transform.
only?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like not only watch him transform, but like maybe you're going through and you're like studying what's up or what the chemicals are.
There
or
may be
whatever
a
the fuck's
situation in the game
happening.
where you maybe have to walk through a lab or talk
Yeah.
or cutscene like that where you're Bruce Banner. But
That would
I-
be a sick thing too. Is like you're in regular human like form
I don't
as
know, I don't-
someone.
I don't-
No, but like
I
listen,
have no
like
desire to
like a
be
story thing. Like
civilian.
as for story
I
and the
wouldn't say it's
cinematic
story,
shit.
but maybe if like you know how every game has like a hub
Oh,
where
yeah.
you can pick your missions. So when you're in that hub, you're
You
in the
walk
Avengers
around as-
Tower. You
yeah.
walk around as Bruce
Yeah,
Banner.
but like imagine like how cool it would be even in a Batman game to just be walking around as Bruce Wayne and then out of nowhere it's like, oh shit, everything's happening and you gotta run or you gotta
Dun,
do
dun,
like
dun,
some
dun,
yeah, you
dun.
gotta
have to
like
run
run
away
and
to put your
get
suit on?
yeah, get your suit on and you can't get caught
but
going to the
here's
bathroom
the
or
thing,
something. Like
if-
that sounds
you
dumb,
ask
but like how sick would
people
that be?
who you want to
though?
be, the hero or the civilian. Well, everyone's gonna be the one.
Everyone wants to be
in
the
video
hero,
games,
but like
in video
showing
games, that's where they add the cutscene to load the level.
exactly.
Yeah.
But what if you don't need the cutscene then?
Well, that's another topic I want to bring up real quick now too, with these new games and PlayStation really pushing the envelope with the loading times, and Xbox saying they're going to do the same thing, where they're saying they're on par just with Xbox's loading times as well. Our PlayStation's load times, that'll be
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. We're probably not going to see it right away, but like the way games are designed are going to change. You know what I mean? Because if the developer was like, oh shit, this is where I would install a elevator scene, or I would install something here to separate the
Now
time
you need more
of a loading
content.
screen,
Mhm.
how are you going to substitute that now?
That's
Because
why I
these
was
loading
bringing that up.
screens are.
That's why I'm bringing that up in the first place because it's like, oh, you're in this mansion or whatever, you're watching
Well,
a
it would just
cutscene, right?
be the game with the loading screens cut out.
Yeah, but then what? You're just talking to people and then it just jumps to like, oh,
Yeah,
you're
or
fighting
does
all of a sudden?
the Star Wars.
Yeah, but like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why those stuff happens in loading screens is to be creative, so you're not just sitting there.
Well, that's not creative if
Like
you just a
Resident
fucking
Evil.
black bar just comes across and then it's
Yeah,
like,
but what do you
look
want?
Look
What
how
do you want
creative
then?
this
He
Faden is.
wants the action of the cutscene to be acted out by the
I
characters.
want it to be point. I
So
want
you're
there to
looking
be a
at
reason.
like an interactive
Yeah,
load
like an
screen. What they're
interactive
telling you.
cutscene.
I love Batman, but if I had to run away to go put a suit on, I wouldn't like that.
No.
Okay,
I wouldn't
maybe,
like that
maybe
either.
it's maybe it's
Fucking Billy.
optional then. I just feel like that'd be cool because then it's immersive as shit. As
don't
you're
think
like
so.
you're like, oh wow, this is this.
What do you
feels
do as Bruce
purposeful.
Wayne?
What do you do as Bruce? You okay? So
You
you're
fuck
walking,
chicks.
you fucking babes. You
You're
walk
drinking
You
But,
count
like-
your money. you
realistically,
look at
what-
your
what would you do?
collectibles.
You're in a business meeting.
What if
Sit down
you-
and look at business
listen,
papers?
What if you could play as Batman? A Batman
Looking
game
at stocks
where
while you're
you're
taking a shit.
Yeah,
you're
like,
Bruce
what
Wayne.
stocks are good?
Yeah, exactly. You got to do an entire stock
No,
level
Billy,
mini
no.
mini game.
Who would want to do that other than you?
I love it, but
You gotta
Billy,
figure.
no.
No. You got, and then you got to figure out which kid you want to
What's in that
adopt from the
water?
orphanage
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
to be.
Do you want to do
Robin.
that, or do you want to fight
Bane.
Leatherface?
Yeah.
I want to.
Leatherhead?
I want to play casino
What's his
slots
name?
for
Killer
2
Croc.
hours as
Killer
Bruce
Croc,
Wayne.
yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Oh my
All right,
Oh,
let's
God.
move on.
All right, yeah.
So the next.
Whoa.
Thank you.
What's going
Thank you so much
Edward
for the
Blackwell?
follow.
Blackwowski? I can't see. I'm sorry.
Bukowski.
I like the
Mike
music.
was-
Edward
Wazowski.
Bukowski.
Yeah, what's going on, man? Hey, Javi, what's going on, man? Love you too, man. I miss you. Can't wait to hear that new music you're making. That
Yeah.
beautiful music.
Thanks for subscribing or following, right?
Yeah, thank you
Following.
for the follows and subscribes, guys.
Yeah,
If you
thank
are
you.
watching this, I'm sorry I haven't been watching the chat too much, but the chat is open. If you talk to us, we will respond. If
We
you
will.
If you disagree, you're screaming
And
at
if
the
you want to
TV.
ruin the show, get 1,000 people to follow.
Ruin
Which
the
will be
show.
good though, because
No,
they get all the
I
followers.
muted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I muted it, so that,
Oh,
that
man.
noise won't keep doing that. Yeah, I forgot that was there, so I muted the noise.
Oh, my
Um,
God.
But yeah, if you guys would please hit the share button, let people know this
Yeah.
podcast exists. Links are below, so you can go follow us, check out the merch page, and all that other fun stuff. So the other news is a lot of people are very upset about this, and I want your opinions on this. So Halo was announced to be launching with system this year, right? It's gonna be the first time since Halo 1 that it's gonna launch with the Xbox.
Yeah.
I guess with some development and everything going on, they're like, you know what? We're gonna push it back a little bit to early 2021.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you go on every video game media source right now, Xbox is a pointless system. Why would I buy an Xbox now? There's no Halo at launch.
That's ridiculous.
I agree.
Why do that's like the whole
So you're
cyber.
gonna buy a system for one game and never buy another game?
Here's-
How say them people?
Here's the thing though, one pushback. Fine, whatever. But if you're gonna pull a cyberpunk where you're like, oh, we're not ready, maybe November. Oh, we're not ready, maybe
Or
September.
Duke
Like,
Nukem Forever.
yeah,
Yeah,
where
10
it just
years.
fucking that's bullshit. But the Halo thing is like reasonable. That's an important franchise.
Yeah.
You
Well, then-
fuck that up at launch,
Yeah.
everyone's gonna be pissed.
Then wait the 2 months and then buy a system
Exactly.
then. If
Not
that-
gonna
if that's
lie.
your deal.
Not gonna lie, it takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails, but early 2021, if it's a very well polished, excellent game, Hey,
And I really
I'd roll with it.
I'd rather a finished game than
I-
rush.
I would too. I would too. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, but imagine
I don't
that
think
extra time.
I don't think that tanks your console sales.
No. Oh, God,
Whoever
no.
said that's an idiot.
Because here's the thing with Xbox. If you do buy the Xbox, right? And you pay for, and you're already part of the Xbox ecosystem, or when you're buying the system, maybe the reason you're buying the new system is to get a part of that ecosystem. So now, for me anyway, Halo was a game where I was like, man, I'm excited to actually have it,
Yeah.
but I don't have to go out of my pocket to pay for Halo because I'm a Game Pass member. So I know Halo is right there ready for me without paying. So that for me as a consumer, I turn around and say, well, now I can get my Assassin's Creed Valhalla because that's going to be a day one launch. So and then by that time I should Watch Dogs will be already out for the Xbox now, and it's not going to be next gen, but it'll carry over and get the next gen update. So going into this new console system, even though it's not an exclusive game, Xbox is toting that all third-party games are going to look and play better on the Xbox. So for me, as someone who, because if you really boil
of course
it,
they're gonna say it. They're not
Yeah.
gonna say they play worse.
Yeah, I know.
well, no, that because the reason they're saying that is because
Well, I
it
mean,
already has been tech proven that
You're not gonna buy a car from the lot and they're gonna tell you the car's bad.
Well, the thing is
It's like-
too is
they're not gonna say
PlayStation.
anything negative.
But
I
no,
think
if you
the
take your
point
two
is-
cars and you're saying, hey, we both have a 4-cylinder car, and
Yeah.
mine pushes 600 RPM and yours push 4, you can't say yours is better than mine because it's just
Yeah, but,
the
I mean,
the
no,
specs are
but
there.
it's two car lots and they're selling the same car, and one's saying, "Oh, ours runs better." No, it doesn't.
Well, they're saying it played on the more powerful system that will make your game
I
run
mean-
and look better.
And the
But
problem
they're
is
not
that-
gonna say anything negative.
And the problem is that PlayStation was putting out that they were gonna be able to compete with computers and shit, which is like it's so fucking.
Well,
The
A compu-
problem,
you
the
can't
problem
compete with a
that
computer because the
console-
next day they can
yeah,
make
the next day
computer
there's
better,
a new
so-
graphics card, there's a new
yeah.
processor.
Well, did
It's
you hear-
so
And they fucked up.
customizable, yeah.
They fucked up, and everyone's like, a lot of the bigger consumer people or reviewers, whatever you want to call it, everyone's like, well, yeah, if I had to choose, I'd probably go Xbox because they're not saying that they're the most amazing, efficient console for whatever, and Sony's going
well,
off
they
of
are
this
they
whole
are saying
basis.
that. They are saying when it comes to the console wars,
Yeah.
we are the more powerful console.
Yeah. And Sony's like,
Maybe
we
it
can
is.
fight your fucking MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Like,
Now, here's the thing too. That was rumors going around during the Devs Kit systems, is they said the PlayStation Dev Kit is more powerful than the Xbox Dev Kit, and people like Dev were coming out being like, "Well, we can't really talk about much because we signed the NDAs."
yeah.
But the PlayStation Dev Kit is not more powerful, and then a lot of devs are now coming out saying because the system specs are out and they're open to talk more. But a lot of devs are coming out saying it is way more convenient to build your game on the Xbox than it is the PlayStation.
Yeah, how user friendly is it?
They
How-
said they
how
said the Xbox
fucking-
is way
yeah.
more user friendly. They said the thing with the PlayStation is one of the things that the rumor is the reason why PlayStation is trying to license DLC and license games is because of they're having issues pushing. They can get 4K,
Mhm.
but they can't get 4K 60.
And they're having a hard time probably with people building games on their shit.
Yeah.
Because they're like
So
never used it before. or
There's a
something, you know?
possibility where I think they did announce that Spider-Man will run 4K 60, but at first when they were talking about it, like this game will be 4K 30.
What's the
Yeah.
difference there? Because I don't even have 4K. I have an old TV.
The 4K is all right. So if you had a game at 4K 30,
Yes.
right, it's gonna look good.
Mhm.
Probably not as good as if it had 60 frames. Just the
Okay.
frames per second is what you want, especially in video games. When it comes to like cameras and stuff, sometimes you want the 24 frames per second because it looks more cinematic and it has a better
Yeah.
look. But when it comes to video games, the more frame rates and more bit refresh is good. So if you had a game that was running 1080p HDR 60 frames per second, it may look better than your 4K 30.
It's gonna
Oh, okay.
look pretty much like this. Oh shit. Well,
So,
So-
you ever see those
so
TVs
say
that
if
have
you had
that weird blur? I don't
Yeah,
like that
so
at
say
all.
if you had a flip book, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you had 60 frames per second, you have more detail with every
Yeah,
page
more,
flip.
yeah, more, yeah.
So if you're 30, you may lose a couple.
Okay.
and not only that, if you have those higher frames with motion blur,
Mhm.
the motion blur doesn't seem as like it doesn't look gross.
Yeah.
It looks natural.
Some of them
And
TVs,
you know what I
you see
mean?
it like Best Buy, like it's.
They
So,
add
like,
the motion blur to
to give
hide
you a
the frame
frame.
rate
But
sometimes.
sometimes the motion, it's like jaunting. It's like ugh.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you wouldn't film like a sitcom on like
Yeah, and it's
60
like-
frames per
yeah,
second.
yeah,
It
yeah.
looks so much
And the
faster. Like a
best way it's-
cinematic film, they use a lot more film with it, and it looks a lot smoother. It's very vibrant.
And the best
d-
way to like
deta-
explain
yeah.
it too is like if you watch slow motion videos,
cinematic
they are
look.
up to 600 frames per second, 240 frames
Wow.
per second.
Yeah.
Fucking like the more frames you got, the more detail you can get within a short period of time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when you extend that shit and you add the motion blur or whatever, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
The biggest problem for me is like a lot of games add film grain,
I like
the
when
dots and
I
stuff.
don't like that.
I don't like it at all.
I like when you
and they
turn it off.
automatically added it to the Spider-Man game, wasn't that right? Yeah, and you couldn't turn it off at all.
Mass Effect, you
Oh.
could turn that
Yeah.
off. And there was
And
a couple
that's-
other games you could turn it off.
And that's kind of why like the Xbox games, they don't do that a lot. They don't really seem to care
there
too much
wasn't
about
another
it.
Well, when they
I forget.
just
what it
even
was.
with the PS4 Pro and the
Mhm.
Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series X was hitting a higher image quality,
Mhm.
and the PS4 was doing checkerboard rendering, where it was kind of like it is showing a good image, but it's kind of like a tricked image. If I'm
Yeah.
is that kind of if I'm
Can't-
hoping
yeah.
I
Like an
can describe.
optical illusion. In a
Yeah,
way.
it's like a tricked version of 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you don't have 4K TV, you can't tell the difference, right?
No.
Not
Yeah.
really, no.
Yeah,
And
I-
it doesn't.
I-
It's,
That's where you want the now. So here's where going back to what you were saying before. I don't know if I want necessarily the shittier system.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know the specs of the Xbox S. We'll say Series S, right? It is kind of been confirmed over a controller. A controller came out, so Xbox is pretty much saying, "Hey, we're obviously trying to get. If you want the more powerful system, that option is here for you,
Yeah.
right?" But this other, they're not really saying anything yet because of it's not been announced. But this Series S, what the rumor is that it's going to be almost on par with the PS4. Like it's a little under PS4, but it's still a next gen.
so
system.
it'll be 4K 60 FPS
Yes.
at the minimum.
So yes, so
Yeah.
Xbox's strategy going into this is even the bare minimum system that they're going to sell you, it must produce a 4K 60 frame per second game on that system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the Xbox Series X, that can possibly put an 8K image out. That's already kind of getting ready for the future, so it's going to be a more elaborate system. Now with this new system, what they might do is they might even sell you that system without even a controller.
Ugh.
Now the reason for that is because Xbox is turning around saying
Why would you do that?
Well, no.
because all the controllers are backwards compatibility.
Oh, are they?
So if you have your Xbox now, like I
Yeah.
have my Xbox, that controller will plug right into my brand new systems and work.
Oh.
which has been needed for so long.
Yeah, because you know
And
you
on
get those-
Xbox specifically, because PlayStation used to be no, not even PlayStation.
No,
Only
none of them did.
PS1 and PS2, and that was it. And then Xbox
No, I
was
don't think that
PS1 had two variations. The DualShock from the PS1 was able to carry over to the PS2.
yeah. So I guess it depended anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
But,
when
like,
that
still,
cut
like,
off.
That's been needed for so long. Nintendo did very good at that stuff.
Yeah.
Nintendo was
Now-
always really good with backwards
Yeah.
compatibility.
Now they are now the kind of the tweet that was put out kind of by an Xbox executive is like they said that there may be a version of Xbox S that will be sold without a controller. So if you said, hey, I have my controllers, I kind of like my controllers. I went out and bought the Elite controller. I have a controller that
Oh,
I
yeah,
bought from Xbox that's
$25 one.
a custom color for me and it has my name engraved. I don't have to go buy a new controller. The only thing I'm going to miss is that share button, and I don't really need the share button because they're
Yeah.
probably going to add a feature where you hit your home button and hit the share
Yeah.
anyway.
And there's something cool about that. Like, does PlayStation have that? Can you buy a specific controller from PlayStation?
Not from their
to-
website. You have to go
do
buy
you
a
mean?
third party.
Yeah,
Wow.
third party,
What, a pro
yeah.
one?
No, like
No,
so on Xbox, you could literally buy from Microsoft your own
They'll laser
design
they'll
for
laser
your
engrave. You can
controller.
you can
yeah.
pick you
Oh,
can
as
pick the
far as-
colors.
I
of
don't-
your,
yeah, I don't think
I
so.
mean, I don't think that it matters, but like that's still a
You-
cool
you- you
option
can
to
just-
have.
yeah.
Is just to be
You
like,
could just
oh,
go
here
on,
we go.
on
A
on
third party
eBay
I know they
and
only
buy
had like
any
certain
colors
color. They only
for
had the
any
certain
controller.
colors.
That's
Like
what-
they had like
that's what I
gold,
did, and it's much
silver,
cheaper.
well, no, like
camo.
the Xbox custom controller is the
Yeah.
same price if you bought a controller from the
Oh,
store.
is it the same price?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
okay, that's
but
good.
you can change if you want your thumbsticks to be different color. If you want your
Oh, that's
buttons
cool,
to look
yeah.
different,
Yeah.
it'll laser engrave your name on
I know
it.
a lot of people are afraid, but it's very easy to change your
It
controller.
is,
Yeah.
yeah. It's easy, and then it's easy to like ruin it too.
It's hard to do the Switch one
Yeah.
because that's more detail and like
Yeah.
small.
You have to
little
be
parts.
gingerly
The
with
Xbox
them.
the 360 one's very easy.
Yeah, so
And so was the PS3.
As far as I know, no one cares about what happens to their controllers from its prior
as
experiences
long as they work.
of cleaning controllers.
Oh, yeah.
So
I agree with
kind
you.
of going back to you, how you were saying, I don't know if I want the lesser system.
Mhm.
If you don't have that 4K TV, if you're really not interested in the super high fidelity because you're not ready for that software.
Yeah, it
if
won't make a
they turn
difference
around
to
and
my
say, hey, here's an Xbox Series S right here, and it's $250, or here's a $500 PlayStation and a
Yeah.
$400 Xbox, but they all will play the next gen systems.
Yeah, but How's the hard drive though? That's the big thing for me.
I think that
Like
they're all
storage
gonna. I think
capacity.
the
They're all
storage
gonna be,
capacity is
1
all gonna be
terabyte.
shit.
Yeah.
I think it's all gonna still be shit
Yeah,
because
they didn't
none of the
learn.
consoles can. None of the consoles can do that.
You have to download all your fucking games.
The problem.
too,
Yeah.
The
man.
problem is that someone's gonna, like you just said, someone is gonna master a cloud system where it's like all online.
And guess who's working on that?
And you
Probably Microsoft.
It's already been
You,
made.
you
Yeah.
don't have to
Frank-
download the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much Xbox is putting out this system. So they're pretty much saying, all right, listen, we're going to put a system out. We're going to make sure it has everything it needs, the ray tracing, the 8K capability.
It's gotta stream.
And
That's what it has to do.
listen, but they're already putting the works in motion to get that cloud service going.
Like the Stadia.
Yes.
But the
But
Stadia
here's the
bombed.
thing. What they're telling you is right now is that if you get into the service, right, and you have Xbox Gold and you have Xbox Game Pass and you buy into this system and you buy into these games, right? You're digital buying the games. You're into like, hey, I bought this game digitally or this or that. Or your controller. Now it's like, hey, cloud service is here. So I can now maybe leave a flash drive into my TV that looks like an Apple Google stick.
Yeah.
You plug it into a hotel TV. You plug it into your TV. You plug it into
It's
things.
all your games.
You load up on your phone, and your phone has a thing where a controller has a mount where your phone sits in it.
Sync in, yeah.
Now you have an Xbox anywhere in the world you want.
Yep.
It really comes down at that point to what your internet connection is. But Xbox has the
Yeah.
capability to seamlessly play. They're doing it right now. There's a beta program for Xbox Insiders where you can stream play against people around the world, like Killer Instinct, play some Forza
Well, I can
games.
do
Yeah.
it on my PC, the
Yeah.
Xbox app on PC.
Yes.
You can play all the games that you have. Some of them are even like cross-platform too, because that's where we played Sea of Thieves. We played Grounded, which
Yeah.
is actually a lot of fun now that we can play it.
Yeah.
We'll talk
wa-
about that then.
I watched some videos on that, so we have to jump back into that.
Oh,
soon.
dude.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, man. Like, I haven't seen too much on PlayStation stuff, and all my friends have been
Well, no one
sharing is
has.
Xbox stuff. And like, Halo looks dope. To get back to that, like, it looks awesome. It looks like Halo. Some people were complaining they don't like the newer gun looks of it, but like that's old fans,
Yeah.
you know. Everyone's just kind of like excited for it, and if you want to put out a game that's not finished, that's cool. You could be just like 2020 and 2019.
do you know why they're
and-
calling it Halo Infinite?
Oh, it's so that you could just update it every year.
They're
or
not
whatever the
looking to
fuck.
make another Halo.
Yeah.
Like that, another Halo is like Halo 6, or this would be Halo 6.
Yeah.
So Halo 7 is not in future plans.
Yeah.
Halo is going to turn into like what Rainbow Six Vegas,
Mhm.
where Rainbow Six Siege is right now, where they're going to just keep adding to that game. That game is going to be
But
infinite.
then how did they make money then?
Because
After you initially bought the game, you don't
probably
get any more
it's
sales.
probably gonna be exactly like Call of Duty, where like you gotta pay for aesthetics.
Yeah,
and
'cause-
all
or-
that
Or
or-
stuff.
even video
but, like-
game tournaments then
Because
too.
let's say they
have
did updates for
sponsorships and
5
all.
years, but
Mhm.
they didn't charge anything. Well, they're not making any money, so people are working for nothing.
The thing is
And,
though
like-
too is like it's not
It's still a business, like
343 Industries. They have not seemed to care about making money
Yeah.
as they've made Halo shitty for like the last couple years until they finally put out Halo Master Chief Collection.
Xbox.
So-
Xbox has already kind of shown the game industry, if you put a good streaming service out like a Game Pass, you will make more money that you can loosen up on other things.
Mhm.
So like there's rumors. It's kind of been maybe confirmed or denied here and there, but there's rumors where they may get rid of online gaming service, where they might make Xbox, like you can get on your Xbox and party chat and play with your friends for free because they've already made
Made
their
so
big
much
thing is
money
to
on
say,
it.
hey, we value this Game Pass thing so much that if you buy an Xbox, it's almost silly to not have it.
Mhm.
Because we're giving you 200 games and we're adding more games every single day, every single week, and we're going out and like a lot of these games that you guys kickstart. What Xbox turns around and does and says, "Yo, you're kickstarting your game, cool. You hit your Kickstarter. Let us give you give you some money, help you make your game even better. But let's work a deal out for the first maybe 2 years or for the 6 months. Your game day one hits Game Pass,
Yeah.
so all of your people in your ecosystem play it, and then they turn around and say, "Yo, I just played this fucking game." And then someone's like, "Well, what's it called?" "Oh, I'm playing it on
Wouldn't that
Xbox."
And
kill
maybe
their
what
Kickstarter though.
no,
because
no.
Xbox gave you the upfront money to make it because they signed that.
But then why even have the Kickstarter? Just go right to Xbox.
Well, you can't.
You
You
can't.
can't just be like, "Hey, I'm making a game, Xbox. Support me."
Yeah, but
you
I
know?
mean that's
So Xbox
I don't know.
Xbox turns around and sees that this game is doing very well on Kickstarter, so it has enough fans that like.
What if they did go to Xbox and they're like, oh, now you want to come to us?
Yeah.
Well, fuck you.
Well, no, Xbox is more or less like
They're
kinda like,
more for
it's
the
kind of
indie-
like finding it's like finding an
Yeah.
indie wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean? Hey, you have a fan base.
But like if I send all my stuff to WWE and it's like, nah, we don't think you got it, and then they hear I'm signing with AEW and they come back like, oh, now we want you.
yeah,
Go to hell.
Well, that's not really what Xbox is doing there. What they're
You
saying is cool. You made your Kickstarter money. Let's help, because when Xbox turns around and does that backwards compatibility for an older title, and they reach out to a developer like that developer and say, hey, if you kind of put some effort into your game, put it on your system, let's revamp it and let's put it for backwards compatibility for the system. Those games numbers shoot back up because people are now in that ecosystem again.
You
And
know it. What you know where it's at, and the thing too is like Xbox has been jumping on this like demo train where they're like, oh, here's games that aren't out yet that are indie
game
developed.
previews.
Yeah, game preview.
Like Steam
and,
previews.
Yeah.
That used to be the discs in the magazine.
Yeah, I still have a whole.
But-
bunch
Oh
of
my
them
God,
there,
yeah, where you
too.
get all like
But
5
even-
different
but
games.
even
and stuff.
crazier, like now with the digital world where they're like, here's a game preview. Hey, but this grounded game in a couple weeks, they're adding a whole update to that game.
Yeah.
So that game is growing with you,
yeah.
and
but, like,
you're already locked into
And the
it.
thing that sucks too is like
but here's the
PlayStation.
thing, like, in
PlayStation
5 years,
doesn't
they're going to
have
keep
that.
adding to that.
It's
Probably.
Obsidian, so
No.
yes.
Yeah.
But how do they make money?
Because so
You
what
already
they're,
bought the game.
what they're doing though is those
So they ain't
games.
making any more money off you.
But what they're finding out is when people buy those games, right?
Uh-huh.
There is a percentage of people who will turn around and keep putting money into that game
Yeah.
to get cosmetics or do smaller
Well,
things.
then that's how they make money.
Yeah,
I'm
and then
saying
you buy
if you
like,
update
Founders
the
Pack.
game
Yeah.
and there's no microtransactions.
Yeah, for the Halo is what
Yeah,
you're
like
saying.
Halo.
I think
Yeah.
there's going to be microtransactions
There has to be,
anyway.
'cause if they
That's
don't make
how it
money-
is
Halo will
because
probably do what everything
yeah.
else is doing with a
cosmetics
battle
and
pass.
shit, yeah.
Like,
We're like,
I kind of
Yeah,
want
and
to say
that's
that
like
too,
wow.
like
But then that's becoming an MMO.
Well, that's
Yeah.
essentially what it was gonna be.
Yeah.
That's
Well, here's
what
the
the Bungie dudes ended up doing with Destiny. That's
Yeah.
what they wanted it to be in the first place.
I think that's a better.
yeah, it's
Well, look at
the
it
way
this
to go.
way.
Yeah.
look at it this way, guys. With the approach of like how the 2K game is going to be like $70, realistically, I think that like new sports games should be like $40.
Yeah.
But then you can actually build up like brand new. I mean, but you can always go like with those microtransactions, like nickel and dime, all the way up to build it to make a $70 game. Then too,
Yeah.
like
then it's
here, kind of like what
sometimes
Halo
that's
would
play
be.
to win. Then
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or pay
that's
to win,
that's
pay to
where
win.
That's
that's
the
where your
problem.
like so for
Like,
me,
but like constant like like extra missions,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
like
what
that
I
either.
mean.
I don't think I should have to pay for more missions.
Yeah, that's why the Hitman thing was bullshit. Because you
Yeah.
paid $60 for a base game,
Mhm.
then paid $15 for a new season.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck?
So-
Why does? What's the point?
So-
it depends. As long as you get your money's worth out of the initial game,
But you don't.
then then it's
Hitman,
Yeah.
Hitman is such a specific like. Oh, you could do the level this a different way every time, but like
Mhm.
Hitman gets so boring.
Yeah.
Like it gets.
Repetitive,
It's
So
not.
so you have Call of Duty right now, right? So Call of Duty says, "Hey, you can play Warzone for free
Mhm.
right now. You can download it and play Warzone for free with everybody around the world. Warzone's very popular.
Like Fortnite.
Yes. Or you can go and buy the game and get to play the story mode, Warzone, and multiplayer.
Yep.
So now they're saying, okay, Call of Duty is still going to do the thing where they're going to put a new game out every year. Cheesefoot told us to shush. But like Fortnite, their cosmetics and their microtransactions do not make you a better player. It just kind of like, hey, you can still hit level 100 and do all the things and unlock. We'll give you a few free things here and there, but if you want this special skin or when you hit a level, like they'll say like, hey, if you hit a level 100, we give you this really really cool skin, and they put a lot of work into that skin to say like, fuck, I'll drop $20 into it. Like for me personally, as a gamer, the way I do it, if I play a mobile game, right, and I played your mobile game like one of those toilet games, if I
Yeah.
played your game for longer than fucking 3 weeks, I'll throw $10 at you because you're a developer. You worked hard for your thing, and I think more people are starting to realize that that's your average gamer, where they're like, "Hey, if you give me a game for free and you keep updating it and working with it, I don't mind buying a fucking skin of John Wick or a skin of the Hulk or a skin of this in the game."
But here's something: if you keep spending money over time, that would probably average out to
That'll
buying the
average
first
out
game,
to the-
buying the second
yeah.
game, buying the third game.
That's the
So
point.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So
But then you're still playing the same game. Nothing changes.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, what
But
do
you're
you
not
want to
constantly
change
buying,
at this
but you're
point?
not just like basically buying
the
like
same
another
game
game
over and
again
over
and like
again.
spending
Yeah.
that extra money, and then they go with
See,
expansions.
I don't
like
want.
they're not really.
I don't want to say
milking
here's
it.
the 10 games. We're never gonna make any new ones. We're just
Yeah.
gonna keep updating them.
So,
10 games.
But they should do that with the sports games
Well, the sports
in
yeah,
the
but
first
yeah,
place,
yeah,
right?
100%.
It's
So,
the
like,
same thing.
like a Devil May Cry story mode game, right? So
Yeah.
story mode, obviously, they can't keep making story modes and making your
Yeah,
game there.
yeah.
So Halo, you're gonna get the Halo
keep getting
story,
maps.
right?
I think you're
Yeah.
gonna do a
Yeah.
lot more multiplayer type
Yes,
shit.
so they're gonna update. They're gonna
Firefights,
make the
Forge.
multiplayer. Like
Yeah.
I think what Call of Duty is doing is like, okay, multiplayer and the story of the game is gonna change, but Warzone is gonna carry from game to game to game to game to game.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So I honestly, once again, the general idea of this show is pro-consumer. I think that's a more pro-consumer way of going
Yeah.
about your game.
And you're
Now,
not
if you're-
spending the same amount of money for the same game
I
every other
I really
year.
want
Yeah.
sports games to get that trend.
They need it. I don't understand why they don't do like if you don't make enough money off of your sport the way it is, and you need to make money from a developing company.
Even if you said,
like,
okay, listen, we're gonna do sports games every 3 years or bi-yearly, like Fight Night. Fight Night, like you didn't need a Fight Night every year, and every now and then they're like, hey, we're gonna throw you 10 extra boxes to add to your game. Now we'll take those 4 years, we'll do tweaks to make things look and feel better and add this, but until we get to a point where we have this new engine lockdown, we feel like we are really taking the game to a whole evolutionary next step.
Where it
I
will be
shouldn't
different.
charge you every year for a fucking sports game.
No.
Yeah, and if you are $30,
Yeah.
$30,
Yeah.
not even 40. I don't
And-
see the point.
and-
Like, there's no
What's the
point.
difference between Madden 2020 and Madden 2019? Like, what's is it really a
$28
$60
even.
difference?
Yeah, they got rid
The
of
year.
other players that you could play. They got rid of the amount of players you could
Yeah.
play with.
Yeah, pretty much. But here's or the stadium may look a little different, but here's the
That's why I never bought the wrestling game. I have one. I last my ball was like 2014. I was like, what's the same shit?
Well,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, there's different
2000
wrestlers in
I
it,
think
but-
2014 was the one where they were still like 2D characters in the stand.
Well, the
or
shitty
something
thing with the
like that,
wrestling game
yeah.
is too is when you buy the brand new game that comes out,
It's shitty.
The last one
the
was,
game
yeah.
is a year behind because they go by the previous year's WrestleMania. So you buy a game that's a year behind, and then you're playing the game, and you're like, well, I want to be just like say we'll use Bailey example. I
Yeah.
want to play as Bailey, but Bailey now is a bad guy who has a completely different
Yeah.
look, different entrance music, different everything. Now I have to rely on the community to make the updated game
Yeah.
so I can play it. But the people who make the game don't update it to.
And that's a hard thing because you have to have a certain cutoff when
Yeah.
you're designing.
It does, but you don't though. If you're saying
Well, I
okay,
mean, you put the game out initially. but
so
then-
if a developer or turn around and say, all right, I don't have to worry about crunching my numbers to make the next game next year, and I don't like. I can take all right. So you take half your developing team. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
we're 4-man developer because this new game that just came out for Xbox and PlayStation was made by one fucking guy, and it looks like fucking Crisis meets and he's one dude. So I don't want to hear that people can't make a game with a fucking big team. Suck
Yeah.
my dick.
depends how long he was working on it.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
it comes down to time. So it comes under resources. So if we have a 4-man team and our job is to every year pump out a new wrestling game. Now here's the cutoff, and wrestling changes right then. Now everyone's like, well, fuck, yo, I'm behind on everything. Or now we turn around and say, all right, listen, the next wrestling game doesn't come out for another 2 years. So you guys, for now, start working on what you can do to innovate the game for 2 years, and me and Andy are going to work on taking the game we already have, taking the base skin models and the facial stuff that we already have, and let's make the game so like every month we can turn around and say, hey, new champion change today. Boom, they put an update in like they do in Madden. So Madden, for a full year, they have guys who would just do that. So if Ben is a running back and he has a great fucking game that week, his Madden ratings will go up in the video game because they update the game like that.
Yeah, but then you got to pay people to be
Exactly.
constantly updating.
So what I'm saying
Yeah.
is you split your dev team in half because you don't have to make a game that comes out every single year, and you guys can keep working on making the game you have better.
yeah, if they do that.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest issue though for the wrestling game.
But I mean, when you
is,
initially
a
put
lot
the game,
going on
yeah,
in the
when you
chat.
initially put the game out, you have to have a cutoff.
Yeah.
but the biggest issue
you,
with
you can't upload it. You can't be like, okay, we're gonna keep designing it because if you keep designing it, when are you gonna get the
that's
actual
not.
game out?
I don't think that's essentially
To get
true
what's
though.
on the disc.
Like you can't. Yeah, you need a cutoff for what's on the disc,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
that doesn't matter anymore today. You know,
Yeah.
because having internet connection is so important. That's another thing that someone has to capitalize on, which I hope it's Sony in a way. I hope Sony is the console that's like expensive, but you won't need online to feel important because that's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
You know, PlayStation 4, you don't need to download a fucking update all the time. Xbox,
some
you
games you
always
do.
need to download.
I
an
always
update.
tell people.
Really?
This is what I tell people. Like if you,
Especially in this area, though.
Andy's style of gamer, right?
Yeah.
If I was working at a GameStop and Andy came in and I know Andy, and if I was trying to sell Andy a system, this upcoming system, I would probably push him towards the PlayStation.
Mhm.
Andy is more of a cinematic RPG player. He doesn't like playing online. He has no interest of talking to people. He has no interest in any of that.
Yeah.
I think the PlayStation caters to him. Probably Ben too.
Mm-hmm.
Gamers like us, where we like the community, we like to go and talk to people, even though they may be toxic, and we have a good time. We like to crossplay. We
Yeah.
like to. I think the Xbox is
Xbox
geared
has
more
so
towards
much,
us.
Yeah, Xbox has so much.
We're the type of people
for-
who want to play 6 games, probably we try to get at least 7 to 8 games done a year, or
Yeah.
if not more. Where they're more or less, I'll play 4, but those 4 games I'm going to 100% complete.
Mhm.
I think systems like Nintendo and systems like PlayStation are built for those style of gamers.
Yeah.
Where we're more of the I want to get, because the Game Pass, you want to play 20 games a year, boom, Game Pass is there for you. You know what I mean? But also, if you're a type of gamer where you want the option, I think that lower base end model of Xbox coming in and turn around and saying, well, we have all these indie style games that would be good and they're on Game Pass, where a guy like Andy would be like, you know what? If it only costs me $250 and I get a system and I'm going to get the same quality as my PS5, but I can grab Xbox Game Pass for a year.
Games that I'm curious about in the first place.
And I can get that for a year service, and I can just dip my toe in the water. That cheaper Xbox may be very beneficial for this upcoming season.
And how do you know also that, like, because consoles have done it before where they've added to the console to make it better. So how do you know that they won't just add like, oh, here's $100 upgrade drive for whatever?
Well,
you know,
that's where the new system's coming in with the Xbox.
Mhm.
The Xbox already said they have the future planned out for memory. So every system, I think, is around. It's going to be between 1 or 2 terabytes. That's
Yeah.
kind of where they're flopping, where they're stopping
which
it.
is like mandatory because every game's like
Yeah.
200 gigs nowadays.
So and like Call of Duty, that's like a 100 gig game now.
Fortnite
with
with,
the
with
update,
the way
Fortnite,
that 250
That's
gigs
crazy.
and then
so
whatever
Xbox
you
has
add.
these tiny thumb drives. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like taking a memory card
It's
to
the
your
hard
buddy's
drive,
house. It's a
yeah.
tiny. If you have a terabyte in your system, you could probably buy another 2 terabyte thumb
Yeah.
drive. I could pop that in. I go to Ben's house and he's like, "Yo, I don't have this new game." Oh shit! Oh, I have it on my thumb drive.
Which they've been doing,
And
but
I pop that in Ben's system. We don't
Yeah.
have to wait, and then we can play those games.
the thing that's been the problem is like
Pirating
they
from
used
that?
they used to have like issues where like it was set to a specific account,
Yeah.
stuff like
Mhm.
that, and like it's weird nowadays because what do you do, like how do you defend from pirating new games? But apparently it's pretty solid because I haven't found an Xbox fucking ROM or anything like
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
can use.
I
and-
haven't heard anything about.
However-
they just found a way to jailbreak
However,
PS4s.
the Switch does have
the,
one.
Yeah,
the
Switch
Swi-
Yeah.
can be broken.
Switch and PlayStation right now are big ones that you can break. Current
Wow.
gen systems that you can be broke right now are PlayStation
Wow.
and Switch.
That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
crazy. I
Jason, who used to be on the show, he just jailbreaked his PS4,
damn.
and he can literally put any single game that's on the PlayStation market on his system
That's
right now.
fucking crazy,
Yep.
dude.
And he has a Nintendo. He has a Nintendo Switch.
But
that
then
he
you
had-
can't go online then because they detect it, and so
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
play any games online.
This is the only thing that's like. I mean, I understand it, but that's kind of why I like the Xbox is because you're paying what like $5-10.
Cheesefoot's killing in the chat for us. I'm sorry, Cheesefoot. So he's saying sports games are $6 base game now have $100 packages. I agree. Offline content is gone. Those days are over. That's how consoles work. I'm just trying to put it now. Sorry, we were really deep in conversation, so I wasn't really watching the chat as much as I should have been. But thank you so much, Cheesefoot, for hanging out with us. If you are watching, hit that share button. Let people know we're here, and make sure you hit that like, subscribe button if you guys are hanging out here.
What he said though, like offline content is dead. I don't entirely believe that
I don't
because
believe that.
because
Skyrim,
only mainly because of the
Fallout,
PlayStation.
Mario, Zelda.
Or third-party developers
Yeah.
who are rushing to put games out,
The problem
and
though,
then they need that online to put a patch in
Yeah.
to make the game work.
that's the only issue is like
Yeah.
in in our specific area, not a lot of people can afford internet because they're not told about the packages that they can get that aren't expensive.
Yeah.
They're not told that like, oh, there's different streaming services in town now or whatever. Like no one knows because it's not advertised because there's a monopoly from Xfinity and
Yeah.
fucking Comcast.
Surge
and,
Electric.
Yeah. And they're all under the same umbrella company.
Mhm.
And it's like, why are you doing this to people when you know like it's definitely available in the area and it
And
all
once
runs
again,
off the same thing?
If we're already dealing with this with everything else in the industry, why the fuck do we have to deal with it in our video games too?
Exactly.
So I just think when people are doing pro-consumer things in this, at least in one realm, that's fucking. I mean, we're kind of getting it in the movie service with Hulu and live TV. Like,
Oh yeah.
no one ever thought live streaming, live TV would be a thing, and then it just kind of was like, oh shit, you can cut the cable. You know what I mean? Now you could pick and choose what you want. Like, and people are making more money now than they ever were because they're like, oh
'Cause
shit,
they're giving
we're giving
people what they want.
exactly. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know. So that tangent went crazy for a second.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. The pretty much both news topics I had was the Xbox PlayStation thing.
Yeah.
And then the Halo getting canceled. Or pushback. Sorry, not
Pushback.
canceled.
Cancel. Halo is now
Canceled.
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 Yep,
Done.
it's
They got rid
done.
of it.
It's cancel cultured.
Yeah, Halo grabbed some girl's ass. And
Oh,
she was
shit.
underage.
Did you guys see any other news?
They finally canceled New York
You're
Comic
joking
Con.
about that, and then it's gonna be like, oh, Halo game
Oh, yeah.
developer did
Yeah,
a messed up
yeah.
thing. No
Bob
longer exists.
Halo
Bob Halo.
sends
Bob
nudes to a
Halo.
14-year-old girl.
Gives Halo to
Yeah, they
14-year-old
finally
girl.
uh,
Jesus.
they sent out emails. They said New York Comic Con was canceled, but they canceled San Diego. Everyone knew it was coming.
Yeah,
But
it was only a matter of time.
They were waiting because there was some type like if the con canceled it, like they didn't get some type of
They get their
insurance
money back or something.
and then if the city, so they were both waiting for the other one to cancel so they would
Wow.
get their money back.
Yeah, that I mean,
They both knew it wasn't going to happen.
Well, of course it wasn't. I mean,
Yeah.
in that confined area and all that. Whoa.
And then it, they
Here's-
said they're
here's-
going to put it all on YouTube. It's like, I don't give a shit. No one gives a shit.
Yeah, no one wants to do that.
Here- watch the
here's
panels.
here,
They wanna meet
here's
people
here's where I
and
would
take
be
pictures.
excited with that some of that stuff. Like I understand, like you go there and if you have a special panel, you get to see something exclusive
Mhm.
for like
Yeah.
a new movie coming out. But even movies right now, they're like they have nothing to put out because
Yeah.
no one's filming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. R.L.
Hell,
Stein's Fear
oh.
Street movies are reported being snagged by Netflix for a 2021 summer release.
There you go.
There's-
So
There's on HBO Max. I fucking love it. It's the best thing ever. But An American Pickle, the Seth Rogen movie,
Oh, I heard about
he
that.
plays two separate characters. He plays his great grandfather, who is like this dude that's like a worker, and there's like a whole conflict.
He
or
falls
whatever.
into the pickle vat
Yeah.
in the 1800s.
Yeah, and he stays alive because he's like
the
frozen.
pickle juice keeps him
Right.
alive until they find him nowadays.
And then when
It's
he
like
comes,
Captain America.
when he
It's
comes back to
preserved.
life, Seth Rogen, the young
Yeah.
Seth Rogen, the now Seth Rogen, is a developer for some app, and he keeps pushing the app back because he's like not sure on it. He's not sure on the logo,
Mhm.
and his great grandfather is like, well, why does it matter? Just make it a color and a thing, boopy or whatever, you know, like because he doesn't understand this realm.
Oh, of course,
And
yeah.
he starts taking pickles from garbage cans and basing it in like rainwater and all this stuff and selling them for like $5 a pickle. And people are like, oh, he's so like organic and he's so real. And then like the health department's like, no, you can't do that. And there's like a whole thing about it's so good though because it's not like the Jack and Jill where like Adam Sandler's playing the same character
Oh,
in two
yeah.
different bodies or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he learned a different language. And he,
the old guy's Polish.
He actually
Yeah.
took the time.
Yeah.
He-
to
he-
do
he
the research.
creates two different characters, and it doesn't feel like it's the same person. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's Seth Rogen, but like it doesn't feel like it's the same character. He plays a mature human being who doesn't know much about the realm that he's in, and then he plays this other dude who's like, oh, it's not how life works, you know, type of
it
thing.
sounded pretty good when
And
my friend told me.
Yeah.
about
The CGI is really good too. You could tell which character is like the CGI'd model, the
Yeah.
newer guy, because he's always wearing something around his head. That's like a little cool thing to
Oh,
know.
okay.
But like,
yeah.
and it starts out in black and white in like 6x4, so it's like a square.
Oh, when it's the
Oh,
old
okay.
guy.
yeah, it's
yeah.
the old dude, and then like just when you think like, oh shit, is this gonna be like the whole movie? It pans out and it's like in 4K, whatever,
Oh, wow.
colored and like really nice. So I suggest it. I think it's a really cool film, and I didn't get
Yeah, I thought it
bored
was a
with
show.
No,
Yeah, I
it's a
thought that was a
movie.
show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Full on like hour 40 minutes or something like
Okay,
that.
It
Yeah.
sounds funny.
It's crazy though. Like that's a lot of dedication for you to be two different characters. And one, he has like his beard,
Yeah.
so he had to fucking have his beard right, and
Record
then
everything. Yeah.
and then like a month later probably do all the other parts. You know, that's a lot of dedication for
Mhm.
two different roles.
Yeah,
That's-
definitely.
that's
double the work.
insane.
Yeah.
So there's rumors also of a TV show that the X-Men animated series might be getting picked back up
Yeah,
by
they did
Disney
say that,
Plus.
yeah.
Oh damn.
So that might be making a
But
comeback.
that's it though. There was no
Oh,
Yeah.
by the
words about
And then
it.
Well-
also on Disney Plus, they're going to decide
Hold the
that
thought, Billy.
they're going to charge $30 extra so you can watch
Oh, s-
Mulan.
Yeah, the new live action
Oh,
Mulan.
come
Like when it comes
on.
out?
Yeah,
Yes.
so like when
Yeah,
that comes
that's-
out,
Oh, okay. Well,
there'll
I'm
be,
not
it
mad
will
about
say
it.
like you can buy Mulan to watch it. I don't know if it's just once and done. I would assume it's unlocking it, but like just wait a year and then you can watch
Well,
it.
you're just buying a movie. You're buying a new movie. Like, that's all
Yeah.
you're doing. You're paying the $30 because
Which is
what
like-
Disney Plus is already $10. What
Yeah.
You're just paying.
That's
to
like the
watch Mulan.
UFC fight.
You're
pass.
adding
But can you?
$40
But
extra.
hold on. Can you get Mulan anywhere?
No.
So then it's just like, oh, do you want to watch the movie now?
But
That's
if
it.
if the theater was open, it wouldn't be $30.
No, it'd be $15.
Yeah.
Now here's where I
It'd be $30
$12.99.
because of your
I could see
food.
$20.
Like a
This
3-day
is-
rental for
30
$12.99.
is pretty pricey.
But the 30 isn't for having Hulu. The 30 is you're getting Hulu with the movie.
no,
Yes.
no, you already have to pay the $14.99 for or whatever.
for the service.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
and then you
I
have to
thought it
pay
was
an
like a
additional-
bundle thing.
No.
Oh no,
No.
fuck that.
No,
then.
no, no,
don't
it's
It's
do
an
that.
add-on.
Yeah,
It's an
no,
add-on
no.
to the service you
I'm
already
with
pay
you
for.
guys then.
You have to have Disney Plus, and then it was like you can unlock Mulan for an additional.
Yeah, no,
$30.
no,
Now,
no.
here's what I would do if I was
No.
Disney. Once again, be pro-consumer. You want to rent? Mulan is on every single platform to rent right now. Now for $30, right? Now people turn around and say, "All right," or you can subscribe to Disney Plus for the year, for whatever the
Commit
like
to the year.
15.
or commit to a year, commit for 3 months for the 15 or whatever it would have
Yeah.
turned out for 3 months. And then you get to watch Disney. And then if you already are a subscriber, Mulan is for free for you, right? So now there's two things you do there. If 10,000 people want to see your movie, now 10,000 people are subscribing to your service. They're in your ecosystem. They're there.
Yeah.
Now they're seeing the movie and they say, "Holy shit, look what more stuff is on here. I'm going to stick around." And they're going to keep paying that monthly subscription and you make your money, right?
You make the more.
Or
than
you turn around
$30,
and
yeah.
say, you could rent it on Vudu, you could rent it on Xbox, you could rent it on PlayStation for the $30 price tag. If I don't own Disney Plus, right, but I really want to see Mulan, now the gas money for me to drive to a theater, right? When I get there, I'm probably going to want some snacks. If I'm probably going to bring somebody with me because who goes to movie theaters alone?
Me.
So now I'm going to
I,
have
I know it's weirdo, but I did. First stream was $5 Tuesday.
I would if I
right
could.
now most
yeah.
people who are in the
Yeah.
Disney family are probably going to have to bring their kids. They're going to bring girlfriends, significant others. That
all adds
that
up.
justifies for me right now with the way things are going in the world. This can be a way to turn around and say, "Hey, $30 right now. You pay for this movie.
It's like a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's like a pay-per-view.
Or
You're paying for
OnlyFans.
this movie,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
Fine
$30
with-
bucks. It's a one-time thing though. But you get to watch this movie for 20 or 48 hours. It unlocks the movie for 48 hours. You can watch it as many times as you
I
want for
see-
24 or 48 hours.
I would just wait
right?
because eventually it's gonna be on Disney Plus
Yeah.
Yes, but once
for not 30.
but what I'm
You know
saying
I mean?
is you're going to make your money on your platforms
Yeah.
because you're charging people to get it anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
YouTube Red, all these places, they paid a $30 subscription. Or you get 10,000 people who, if you have a good enough streaming service, they're going to buy
They're
buy
all
into your
gonna buy
streaming system.
$15. That's 15 million, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're not going to make the 30, you're going to make the 15. But if your service is good enough that's going to keep people there, you may get them for 3 months and you may double your money
And
there.
you know what they're gonna
If you
do
can-
though?
Yeah, if you could do that.
However, I feel like it's a smart idea because if you did just that, you released a brand new movie. Like, say Bill and Ted comes out
Yeah.
on HBO or Hulu for like $15. You get the service and shit. However many people pay for that service, your servers are getting shit on, dude.
Mhm.
Your servers are going down for like 3 days probably because you're gonna have an influx
Yeah, huge
of
influx.
so much people.
But
That's the thing you got to think about too, and that's why I'm like kind of like $30 isn't too bad, but if you already have it, why not?
Yeah.
You know?
I just feel like what justifies me paying your $15 that I already pay a month to get this movie for 30?
30, yeah.
yeah, why can't I download the app and just go
I
right
think-
to a
do
bite
you get
now?
do you get physical stuff?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
then
just
what's the
think
point?
it's more of like a ply
But
kind of.
I always thought they should have a movie like app, and then where you could pay more to watch it at your house, even if movie
I
theaters
agree.
were open.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if it is more, well, I don't know, maybe
Well, you
30.
think
I
of-
don't know, but like I would pay more to watch one of the Marvel movies sitting on my couch than going to
I,
the theater.
I would 100% as well.
And if you really think about it, then too, it's just like with people trying to save money and all that, like with all the extra money that they have, they figure, oh, $30, that's like a drop in
I
the
guess
hat.
it's
with
all
how
right,
much-
you know?
depending if you're like frugal like that.
But I
Yeah.
understand why you'd be mad if you're like, well, I already the
Or
service.
even if they turn around and
Yeah.
say, okay, anywhere else you get the movie, you have to pay 30, but if you, on Disney Plus,
You
you
pay
only
pay
you
25,
pay you pay 10 or
15,
25.
yeah.
Because like what,
Yeah.
the network.
even
if
15.
Because
we-
listen, if we can get to a point in this world where going to a theater isn't the end all be all, where you can, because we live in a digital world
Mm.
where a movie comes out on a Friday and you're like, fuck, I don't want to drive all fucking 2 hours to my next closest
Yeah.
theater, or I don't want
Well-
to be around people because of this virus, and I can rent the thing for $20 online.
I think the
Well, that's what I
problem
mean,
though,
yeah.
I think the problem though is like Disney messed up, like DC messed up because Disney movies aren't exclusive to Disney
talk about
Plus.
DC then.
It's only a couple of things. It's only it's like, oh, you can't watch specific Disney movies, but you can still watch The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on Hulu or something. Like these companies mess up because they don't own their shows before they like come out.
Yeah.
You know, and then they do the thing that DC did was like, oh, we got Doom Patrol and Titans on our streaming service, and then they're like, oh well, Doom Patrol is now on HBO Max, and so is the Harley Quinn
So-
TV show.
Yeah, so why should
and
I
so,
buy it?
So why
Yeah.
would you buy the DC thing? And then you got all the Superman movies. You got Batman versus Superman, the undeleted
So can I
cut,
tell you?
whatever.
Can I tell you what I canceled DC to get HBO
Mhm.
because you were like, hey, there's all the DC stuff's on there. Now, I'm a big fan of the DC animated movies. A lot of those are not on
That's- yeah.
HBO. So I went back and I wanted to watch Hush. Hush is not on HBO.
I can let you borrow it if you want.
Yeah, I wanted to go back. So the thing with the DC, if you are a diehard DC fan, you get all the comics. So every time a new comic comes on,
Yeah.
you could digitally read it. You can.
I think it's behind though.
It probably is.
Yeah.
And then also you can get all the animated. But here's the thing.
Actually, there is no comics on it.
with the app, you can.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And Marvel,
yeah.
there
It's
is,
the
but I think
electric.
I thought
DC,
there
DC
wasn't.
is that they have like
Yeah,
all
they add the
e-comics
comics,
and shit.
but you
yeah.
can't go back and like read issue.
Oh, real old school stuff.
Yeah.
Every single issue of Batman
Yeah,
ever created
okay.
on there, which I think is kind of silly.
Because you can do that.
Yeah, as
on,
long as they're
like,
scanned, why not
certain
just put it
sites.
on
Yeah,
there?
I agree with that.
I think the problem though is like I feel like DC is moving their shit to HBO. I think they're gonna move all their
the app
movies
is almost
and
dead.
TV
It's on life
shows.
support right now.
Yeah, and
But hey, if I can go to HBO and I can put out director's cuts, or I can go to
Mhm.
HBO and put out and maybe revitalize Swamp Thing, because honestly, the way HBO is going right
and
now,
all the
it can-
Godzilla movies are on there. Just saying.
dude, some old school horror movies are on there. HBO, if they keep adding the content they're doing, they can make a run for a Hulu or a
And
Netflix.
their HBO original series were all the series that Hulu had.
Yeah.
That were like, well, not all of them,
And they
but
had
like
all the Cartoon Network. Dude, I was watching
South
Space Ghost
Park.
Coast to
Dude,
Coast.
Oh, that's
Right.
awesome.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force hasn't been on a streaming service other than Adult Swim, so for me to just have HBO Max and I can watch Aqua Teen,
I didn't know it was on there.
Metalocalypse, fucking
Powerpuff
South Park,
Girls.
Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's
Brat Show.
Laboratory, like all these good shows that I watched as a kid.
I didn't like Metal
And,
by
like,
the way.
Which one?
I
Metalocalypse.
watched
I
a couple
felt it was
episodes.
insulting to heavy metal fans.
You think?
Yeah, that's why I don't like it. The music was awesome,
Well,
but I was like, they're making fun of metal. Like,
Yeah, I
and they're not making fun of like, let's all laugh. Let's laugh at the metal people.
I don't know though, because they.
That's what I. That's how I. That's how I picked
The
it
thing
up.
is though, is Aqua Teen was sponsored by Gibson, so Metalocalypse is probably sponsored by
Yeah, but,
another.
I mean, country
it's
people play
probably
Gibson guitars.
I'm not
so I
sure
mean,
if Warner Brothers owns HBO. Google that.
I
let me
don't
know.
I think they do
think
because
s-
Looney
yeah, they do.
Tunes is on it. Looney
yeah, I
Tunes
think
is
they do.
on it.
But did you know
They got Time
Warner Brothers
Warner
just fired
channels.
like a ton, like 600 people, and they said DC really took a whack.
Yeah,
And
they
they were
did.
worried
Yeah.
about like Jim Lee's still going to be the
Yeah.
president or co-president. I think they fired a lot of people that had to do with the app because the app is basically done.
Yeah.
Because they know.
How about you
Oh,
fire the
wow,
people
yeah.
who keep turning around and saying we're gonna fucking rewrite all these movies and bring people in to redo them,
Yeah.
and then when the fans actually see the director's cuts, are like, why the fuck did we do this in the first place?
So I think they
Can we
fired
fire
more
those people?
Yeah.
Can we fire those people?
I think it wasn't so much people on the comic book end. It was like
Is
higher
that
ups
is
and
that
stuff.
so? Did you watch the HBO Max Superman versus Batman director's cut? Is that
That's
the
the
is
same
that the,
that
is that the
was-
Snyder cut or is
Yeah.
that just
Yeah,
the,
I think it's the same.
okay?
I don't
Because
think it's like a new
I
one.
didn't watch it
Well,
because I thought
they
it was
released,
just like a
they released
weird
that on
cut or
DVD
whatever.
and Blu-ray.
Okay, I
So
wanted
they
to
released
watch it.
Batman vs Superman, and then they released the theatrical or the
The
director's
real-
cut.
the
Whatever.
real
Yeah,
film.
yeah. There's
Okay.
not a third one.
No, I just wanted to know what it was and if
Okay,
I
yeah.
should watch it or not because
it
everyone
takes
was
the movie.
saying.
It takes
They
the
added
movie
more
from
to
2
it.
hours to like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to watch it
3.5.
because everyone's saying like, oh yeah, all the shit that he was gonna add made the movie make
Well,
sense.
It did. It some scenes it just drops completely off, and then they don't really explain anything about it.
And then that adds to the story
Yeah.
entirely. Wow.
It's not a totally different movie. I watched it. It's ad. If
But
you're
it
gonna
makes
watch
sense
one, watch
though,
that.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, like, why would you do that? Like,
I don't know.
people cut it for time, right? But what's wrong with having a 3-hour film if you know it's 3
Yeah,
hours?
I don't know.
What's
because here's what was happening.
It's a good question.
DC was turning around and they were doing field tests, and they were doing like
it's the attention span of
yeah,
people.
no, not just that, but with the people they were bringing in to watch their movies, they were targeting people who enjoy Marvel movies. Marvel movies are a lot more lighthearted. They're colorful. They're
They're
vibrant.
fast.
They make look at those jokes, and here's a fart joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And DC's, especially in that universe, is a little more darker. They want to make serious. They're not so much. They're not really geared for kids. And they turned around and said, well, how can we make this movie more like that? And then the people were like, and then Zack Snyder's like, why the fuck did you hire me?
Yeah.
Like, you knew what type of movies I make, so you're gonna make me change who I am as a person? Like, you can't. If I can't fly, don't make me fly. You know what I mean? Like, that's the movies I make. So then there was conflict there. So the producers and the people were kind of already against Snyder because of what he did with Batman vs Superman. But Snyder was already building this universe. They were trying to do in DC what Marvel has, where there's going to be this whole universe to it, and it was going to carry over to Wonder Woman, was going to
They
carry
would
over to
have
Aquaman.
cameos.
It was going to carry over to all these movies.
Yeah.
So then they did Suicide Squad. Well, as Suicide Squad's kind of getting released, they're also doing Justice League. So Zack Snyder, unfortunately, lost his daughter. So he says, I have to step away for a minute. Like, I have to step away.
Yeah.
And then they brought Josh Whedon in to come finish the movie.
Yeah, Justice League. Not Suicide Squad was done.
Justice League.
But so what's his name didn't do.
Yeah.
Zack
Another
Snyder
guy
didn't do
did. Yeah,
Suicide
yeah.
Squad.
So when Zack Snyder left that role, I believe his wife or somebody involved with him was involved with Suicide Squad. So they both had to step away. So then they both went into both those movies and took, like, they had all this done, but all
And
they needed
fucking
was
turned it on its head.
they rewrote the whole movies. Suicide Squad was like the villain wasn't even the same. Justice League's villain was like it wasn't supposed to be Steppenwolf the whole movie. Like they changed the entire. Then they had to bring Henry Cavill back and do all reshoots because they had to reshoot they changed the movie.
And I want to say something while we're still on DC. I talked a lot of shit about Harley Quinn and said how I didn't like the movie or whatever, but
I
like
loved it.
the more I think about it, I was like I never shut it off. I watched the whole thing.
I loved it.
I laughed at like 3 or 4 parts, and then I got like thoroughly invested in some of the. I thought some things were stupid, like the way that they like portray the little girl as like being a little girl, even though she's able to like steal shit all the
Well,
time, like she couldn't fight
She's a
back or
little
anything.
thief. Well, she's a little thief, but she
Yeah.
doesn't have
Like
fighting
that.
skills.
But
so
they didn't
that.
they didn't watch a lot. Like they didn't put a lot on her to have a story. So like
Yeah.
I felt like you don't get too invested in caring for her until the end when it's
Okay.
like, oh, she relates to Harley and all this other stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked it. Wasn't the
But-
best movie, but
Yeah,
it was
I'm gonna
pretty
be
good.
honest. As I was watching it, I kind of already knew. For me personally,
You
I
knew
already
what was
I
good.
already knew what to expect out of Harley. So Harley to me wasn't there to steal the show.
No.
Harley was just to keep the train rolling. But then a character like Huntress,
Yeah, she
and
stole
Canary,
the show.
and all those other supporting characters, I latched onto those more because there was some character like how are they going to develop these characters. So to me, when I was like, oh shit. I found I made more of a fan out of me of these other characters. I thought these people did such a good job at it.
They pulled their weight more
thought
so
Black Mask
than
was done very
anything.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Black Mask's character was amazing.
So like it's kind of
Oh.
like when you go in, right? So like the Deadpool movie, right?
Yeah.
So I went in to see Deadpool knowing that Deadpool is already going to be the star of the show.
what characters
So
are
who else
yeah.
is going to jump off the screen at me?
The cab driver.
Yeah. And
Yes,
honestly,
Dan.
and honestly, like
yeah, he was pretty good.
Francis the villain was just like,
You don't care because I think they made it that way though. I think they made it so that you didn't care because
Like
then when it
pushover.
happens, yeah, when it happens, you're just like, oh well, that was
Was Francis in 1 or 2?
lackluster. He was in the first one.
first one.
Where he like just walks to him and he's like, "Hey Francis," and
Yeah.
he just dies. And like, I think that had to be there has to be something about it. It must have been like
Plus, he
a
doesn't really
big
have
a
good-
big
any
comic book thing.
good
Yeah,
villains.
maybe that's the
No.
joke is that like he doesn't really have a nemesis. So this like ordinary guy
I
who
mean, he
like
does,
walks
but
up to him and he's
he
like,
does have a nemesis, but their rights are all over the fucking place, so they can't do what they want to.
Who's his nemesis?
I mean, Thanos is a big part of him because
No.
him and Thanos have like a beef, don't they?
That's
Because
just that series.
That's just the one
I'm
series.
saying, but that's it's more intense.
That series is 4 issues.
He's an actual super villain though.
Yeah.
I think is what he's saying.
Yeah, but
let's for me to be honest,
Brock Lesnar, who's like a guy that just started. You want to see them feud? Like it's like Thanos
Zack
versus
Ryder
Deadpool is
versus
so
Brock Lesnar.
unbalanced.
Yeah.
but if you
Yeah,
had Thanos
it's
sit there,
fucking-
if you had Thanos sit there saying, well, we're gonna fucking. I'm gonna make it so you can never die, so you can never see Lady Death. Like I think that's more entertaining than fucking making Francis jokes for an hour.
Yeah, but
Here's my problem with Marvel movies. I like the Marvel movies, but every single time they
Thanos
have
is gonna hold his own like
Thanos is gonna hold
against
his
all
own
the
on
Avengers,
everything.
but then Deadpool gives him trouble.
Yeah.
Like
what I'm saying is like, it just every single time you have those side movies like the Wolverines, the Deadpools and stuff, it's like, well, fucking, can we get a villain presence here?
yeah, but like you
Yeah.
can't take a major villain and
They could make
Nightwing
some-
ain't gonna fight the Joker. In the
I
Nightwing
thought that like Juggernaut in
know what
the
I mean?
Kid was kind of weird in
Yeah.
the second. Like I thought it was cool, but I don't know.
Juggernaut was cool because he came out of
It's
nowhere.
cool because you didn't expect him, and
Exactly.
then like
Yeah.
when you hear it, you're like, is that is it him? And then like it happens, you're like, holy shit!
It
like
is, yeah.
what
mean,
is this
like,
about?
like,
Juggernaut's
Deadpool.
not Thanos, but he's still a big enough
but
character
you
that it
can't-
catch your attention.
Even if they had the rights, you can't put Thanos in a
Yeah.
Deadpool movie. That's just outrageous.
I think the problem
yes,
too.
it's Squirrel Girl beat Galactus, but I don't want to see Squirrel Girl fight Galactus.
I think
Yeah.
in a film like
and then you have the argument of people like,
Alright, so-
well, why can't they just call Squirrel Girl?
Yeah,
Unbeatable Squirrel
So
Girl.
all right, Thanos was a bad example, but I want
No,
something
I-
better than fucking
it would have been cool.
a guy
had
who
they
walks up
took-
and puts a bullet in his
like
head.
maybe
3
I
seconds.
think
Mr. Sinister.
I
Maybe
think
like something like that level.
I think it would have been cool too if they took Deadpool and made him an asshole in the movie. So like, it's like, oh, the Avengers are doing something cool, and he shows up and he's like trying to help, but not really. He's just like pissing them off the whole
He's
time
just-
or something.
oh,
yeah.
He's just buying the
Oh,
time.
he's
Yeah.
trying to help, but
or
it's
like,
making it worse.
Yeah, he's like fighting them, and then like he's like, "Oh look, guys, I'm doing real good," and it's just like his head
Yeah.
on the ground, and he's like, "Look at my body go," or some shit. Like they could have
Something
put so
goofy.
much more into him being separated from himself,
Well,
and they did that with like the baby legs or whatever. But like, I don't know. I feel like they could have done more with just him being Ryan Reynolds and being funny. You know,
you really like superheroes to not be superheroes.
I'd like them to be. No, I wanted his powers to be
Son of a
important.
bitch, Billy.
What do you
You
mean?
know, I want him to be Ryan Reynolds.
I said I
mean,
don't want
that's-
him to be Ryan Reynolds.
Oh.
He was just Ryan Reynolds in that film.
Well, Deadpool is pretty
That's-
much
Well,
right.
Well, have you
Reynolds,
watched
yeah.
Van Wilder, Billy?
It's not a stretch.
I don't like that movie.
Yeah.
You don't like Van Wilder?
I don't like
Guess
it.
Wow,
what?
really?
He's Deadpool without a mask.
Yeah.
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 That's why they wanted him to be Deadpool. Like, wow, this guy is Deadpool.
He doesn't have to stretch
Well,
his
didn't he
acting
pay
abilities.
for it mostly? He
I
just
think he
wanted
with
it.
He
the
fought-
first
he
one.
fought
Yeah,
for
he
it,
just
yeah.
fucking.
He did.
He was like, "Yo, you guys ripped me off in the Wolverine movie,
Or
so now I'm
X-Men
gonna
Origins
go play.
Wolverine.
Now I'm
was
gonna go
terrible.
play a terrible Green Lantern film
Yeah.
and like
I don't-
shit on my own career."
I don't think the Green Lantern. I thought he was a good Green Lantern.
the
um,
fucking
but I
CGI
thought-
was
The CG was
awful.
a little
It
even
was
bad
so
for the
bad.
time. I
Yeah,
thought.
it was terrible.
Now here's a
Yeah.
little weird thing. They pretty much announced that the Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps are going to be in the DC universe.
It was supposed to be.
and he does make an appearance supposedly in Justice League.
It was supposed to be 2021 for the Green Lantern Corps movie
I-
when they had their movie scheduled,
Mhm.
but then they.
I
canceled
hope
it.
he shows up as a cameo and he's like, "Oh, you got a real suit? Like like you got a good
But
suit?"
There's been like 4 or 5 people making claims and hints and like teasers saying that they are playing Green Lantern, and Ryan Reynolds is one of them.
What if though? What if they do a decent
Oh, they're gonna
Green
pull that
Lantern
multiverse
film?
shit. Here we go.
Well, no,
We're gonna complain about DC
We're
pulling a
gonna complain
multiverse right now.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
7 Spider-Mans in.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck a multiverse.
I
but
mean-
like, can I get a
mean-
new Spider-Man
But I mean,
film?
we are getting fucking. Everyone's excited to see old ass Michael Keaton revise himself as Batman again.
I guess he's
He won't
been the
get-
best Batman. I don't know.
I don't see the.
Is that how
I don't
people
think he's the
feel
best
about it?
Batman.
Maybe he's old man Batman. Maybe
Yeah,
he's,
that's what he's supposed to
Yeah,
be.
that's-
Cool. I'm
yeah.
really,
Well,
I'm
isn't
really
it-
excited.
Well, no. What if he's not the main character?
You'll
is
love.
what I'm saying.
Actually, you would be a huge fan of Michael Keaton as Batman because he won't be a superhero; it'll just be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll love it. It'll be
What was he supposed to be in anyway?
like a Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because it's different time periods. I mean, it's not.
Weren't they gonna use him like in a Batman Beyond, like a Batman Beyond?
That's what the
setting?
rumor
That
always
would be
was.
That would be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I would like-
wouldn't mind that.
I want like, I
for
I
how
want
old he
a
is.
red
That fits.
fucking hood
right in
movie,
there. If
they
dude.
put
I
him
want
in
a
a
Red
suit-
Hood
if they
live
put him in
action.
a
Under the
suit.
Red Hood, and it's a good.
And
I
he
want a
fights,
live
I'd be
action
pissed.
movie though.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
want a
cool.
Red
That
Hood
wouldn't be
live
right.
action.
Now, if they had like the mech suit, like they had in Batman
No.
Beyond,
No.
that's what I'm saying though, because that was in the series. He was in an actual like mech suit, like
He's
built
he's
from
a
his
great
own-
actor, but when he
Yeah.
fought Spider-Man as the Vulture, I was like, eh.
I don't know. I liked his
I didn't
character.
mind that.
Yeah, I liked
But-
his character. You
But the
see,
Vulture's
you
an
see,
older character.
yeah,
though.
Yeah.
you see the fucking difference. At least he wasn't
All
like.
right.
At least he didn't
I can get
come up
over.
and
I
he
can
was
get
like,
over it as I can
"Hey."
get over it as Vulture.
He
Yeah.
wasn't mad.
But
at
if that
him.
motherfucker puts a Batman suit on and fights somebody, I'm fucking.
I don't think he's gonna fight though.
I'm
That's
walking
what-
Yeah, I
think
I
he's
don't
like
think
the
he's gonna
retired
fight
Batman.
at all.
God, I
Yeah.
hope
Yeah.
so.
He's gonna be like the Damian Wayne father. Like, hey,
Here's,
Yeah.
here's a spoiler alert. Even when he was young and he played Batman, his fight scenes were kind of stupid
I
too.
saw
Yeah.
the movies.
His fight scenes were
I
garbage.
saw Batman Forever. I saw Batman and Robin, and I saw Batman.
What about Batman Returns?
Is he in Batman Returns?
Yeah, Batman
Michael
Returns.
Keaton,
Yeah.
he
I
was
don't
only
know
in the
if I
first
was-
two.
He was
Oh,
That was
okay.
with Michelle Pfeiffer
which
and
one?
Danny DeVito.
Then it's Val
which
Kilmer.
Oh,
he's
Batman
like,
Returns is okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, then I
that's-
did watch
that's
that.
my
I thought he was
favorite
in the
one.
3
Batman
of them.
Forever
like
is Val
how they
Kilmer.
are.
Val Kilmer takes
And
over.
the fourth one's George Clooney.
Which one's the is Batman and Robin the one where
That's
they're
the
in
third
like
one.
they're in
Oh,
like
that's the fourth one. Yeah, that's all.
colorful thing?
Yeah, that's awful.
Nipple suits.
Yeah, when
It's
they fight
terrible
the black
suits.
light.
I thought
people. Yeah.
Robin was dope, but I thought the Batman was
Robin
bad.
was
Now,
alright.
wait a minute. Is Batman Forever the one with the Riddler and
Yes.
Two-Face?
Yes.
Okay.
And
And
4
then,
is Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy.
Okay.
And
I
Bane.
wanted to make sure.
Why
okay.
the fuck did they keep the story going but change the Batmans?
Here's
Well,
Fucking
the director
goofy
left.
contract.
in retrospect, though, I'm gonna be honest. What I do like about those movies, even though like the guy playing Batman wasn't up to par, the villains were super corny and quirky.
They were Batman villains.
They were 1960s
I,
Batman
I
villains.
thought they were. I much rather those quirky, stupid versions of the villains than
The actual
than fake
Batman.
Bane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Then
fair.
Bane is just wearing a crab mask and he has no venom.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, like,
That pissed me off a little bit with that
what you were
movie.
saying with like how like DC wanted to go after the Marvel audiences and like make everything colorful or whatever. Like the Harley Quinn TV show shows that people like that style of humor, right? But it's still a dark show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that
it's a
one is,
really
yeah.
dark show. And the
and
Titan
and
show is
DC,
dark.
when
Yeah,
DC
they're
does
good,
do
yeah.
kid stuff, they do that very well too. Like there's
Yeah.
that,
Teen Titans Go and shit
or even
like
that DC Academy where they're all like, they're all kids and they're in like high school.
I haven't watched that at all.
It's literally a
Yeah, I
little.
forget what it's called. Yeah.
It's super kiddie. Like the one day me and Heidi, it was on and me and Heidi watched a couple episodes. I'm like, if I was a kid, I would be into this.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the it's mostly focused on the females of the DC
oh,
universe.
it's Superhero Girls.
It's
Yeah,
like
that one's really
yeah.
good.
And it's like it's just like the Sony and Xbox thing. Like we need the differences.
Yeah,
Marvel's not
Listen,
ever gonna put out a decent
there
like
there is
serious
a place.
movie in
There's
my
a place in
opinion.
the world for the 1966 Batman, and there's a place in the world
Yeah.
for the Batman vs Superman
Yeah.
Batman.
And I think that you really
Multi-universe.
need to like
And they should stay
understand that like
separate.
they should stay separate. But like I think you really need to understand the fact that like DC is just dark.
No.
I don't
Go
like
go read a Flash comic.
I just like the dark.
Not always.
I just
Not
said-
always.
Yeah,
Once
it's
again,
not- it's not-
there's different
it's
variations.
not,
of
yeah.
it.
I
And
don't
look
know.
at Superman.
Dark Knight. That what's his Frank Miller
Prime
wrote? Very
example.
dark.
Superman comics.
Yeah.
Fucking corny ass
I'm
storylines.
gonna be honest. I
And
didn't.
some
even,
are corny, some are good.
I'm
Some are
talking about
good, but some of them like
But it's Superman, it's
But
not
for
him killing
films,
people.
though, for
no,
films, though, is
no.
what I'm
It's
saying,
like goofy
like-
stuff.
See, I don't like
Some goofy
Superman, but I
stuff.
loved Man of Steel.
Did you watch the
Brightburn.
Brightburn?
Yeah.
I loved that shit.
Yeah. It was
I
fun.
loved it. It
was
was
fun.
it was like a horror film, but like
It was a horror film.
It was a horror film, and then like
A
the superhero
supervillain
elements.
origin.
Like
Yeah.
why can't we get more of that where it's good though? Why
Well, you
why do they
can, but,
want
I
to
mean,
change it? Why do they
Then
want to
you're
make
not
it
geared
like
toward, you can't have the kids watch that.
yeah?
It's
I
like
thought,
a targeted
I
demographic.
thought
really.
Brightburn was done just the way it should have been. We, as the fan, we knew that was
Yeah.
Superman.
I'm just tired of like the whole like censorship needs to be specific. Like there's too much of it.
It's
I
not so.
feel.
It's somewhat.
It's more like
censorship.
trademark.
It's how you're going
copyright
to
and-
market your character.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
characters don't need all the come out and say fuck fucking kill
No,
people.
Yeah.
no, I know, I get that,
know?
but it's like I feel like we do it too much. Where like even in the WWE, like it's all family friendly,
Yeah,
and it's
well,
like,
yeah.
but I think you should also you should
back
take
in the
care of your
day-
kid and make sure if you don't want it to watch that,
Yeah.
you should be on top of that.
Well, there's different ways to make it. Because back in the day, wrestling was PG, but it wasn't like how it is now.
yeah,
It was good.
It was just,
but PG was
it just-
different.
instead of writing on curse words, they wrote on borderline racism.
Ah, true.
Well, yeah, I always did that.
Yeah.
Do they still? I feel like they still might do that. I feel like that's still a thing.
Here's the best part about this episode, and I don't know how you guys are responding to it listening, but we had no structure. We just riffed and talked like nerds.
I got heated
I did. I kind of.
multiple times.
I kind of dug it. I'm gonna be honest. We gave like 2 topics and we kind of just talked about it and went on side tangents. How do you feel about this?
I could give 2 fucks. I thought it was
I
all
can't
right.
give 2 fucks.
Ben's arguing against it. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
no, I liked it. I wanted to bring up 2 things then too.
I think that's good. You just bring like some idea.
Spe-
talking points.
speculation of
I got some
John Cena
comics
being a
stuff,
peacemaker that Tyler put on. the
Okay, yeah.
page.
So John Cena is in Suicide Squad too.
Yes,
100%.
Yes,
So
yes.
now they're saying
but
he's
they're
gonna be
thinking it's
Peacemaker, which is a
peacemaker.
lame character.
Pacemaker.
Well, I hope they don't just kill off.
Yeah,
this
Pacemaker.
The
guy.
for me.
pacemaker.
I want to see John Cena in the whole movie. I don't want to see him. Get
I would
killed
love
off.
to see
I
John
think
Cena.
he's
as
gonna
the
be one of those.
pacemaker.
If James Gunn's gonna do his character right, and from what you're telling me,
Yeah.
he's gonna be in for maybe a total of 5 minutes, and he's gonna blow it miserably. Like,
He's just
like in
gonna die?
a particular situation, like he just screws up on something.
Yeah, and
Like
he's just
that would
gonna
be
die.
like it'd just be like a goofy,
You
corny
think that'd be
cameo.
perfect? I think that would be good.
I don't
too.
want that. I want him to be in the whole movie. I want to see what he can do. Like I kind of
alright.
felt robbed when The Rock and Samuel jumped off the building in that movie. Like, it's funny, but I'm like, I kind of want to see them in the
Yeah,
whole
but The
movie.
Rock's been in a lot of good films.
Yeah.
How many films has John Cena been in
Whoever
that have
his
been like?
agent is.
I mean, he
wow.
was in
Trainwrecked?
Daddy's Home.
Yeah, and
Daddy's
what's the other
Home
one,
was really good too.
a couple. I mean, but
Yeah,
like,
but like he
you're gonna get
never
him for the
really
movie.
acted. Really, he was just kind of a dick in the
I'll tell you
Daddy's
what,
Home 2 movie.
I watched the movie where we act the entire thing, and I wish I never watched it.
oh, what
Yeah.
was it, The Marine?
No, the Firehouse one.
Firehouse.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, that John. I know what you're talking about. That
Where-
John Cena,
where the
like
kids go to-
rich,
they-
G-rated movie.
Yeah, the kids get stuck in a firehouse, and John Cena's the captain of the fire squad.
Like, why
and
can't they be
boy.
real actors though?
It was fucking.
Like, why can't they act in
it
real
was great
films?
for kids. It was great for kids. It was
See,
hard to
I
watch.
feel like
like
they
The
should
Chaperone.
give. I feel like they
Yes.
should give those roles to Batista because he can't act. Even though The Stuber was a good film, that was all on Kumail. Like
I didn't
he
see it.
made
It
that.
looked good.
It's so good. God damn it! It's so good. It is so funny, but it's mainly because the secondary actor is such a lead role person. Like
Okay.
he's so good at
Like you
what
have
he
Dave
does.
Batista, and then you had to have like that funny aspect
Yeah.
of it to kind of carry him.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he's not gonna be. You know,
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
his
Drax
whole
don't talk a whole
the
lot.
whole
Batista's
the whole part
in
of the
there,
film is like
yeah.
he just got LASIK eye surgery and he can't see, so
Okay.
he calls an Uber, but he's never used an Uber before and he doesn't understand phones and shit like that. He's like an old man, but like
oh boy.
it's bad and it's good at the same time. It's weird, man.
I watched the trailer. I was like, looks pretty good.
It is, but his character's really weird and he talks in like this weird voice the whole
Yeah.
time. Like his eye affects how he talks. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
can't squint.
Also,
Yeah,
Suicide
exactly.
Squad. So a lot of stuff was getting leaked from Rocksteady about Superman, showing
That's a
Superman.
video game, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So people were like, "Oh shit, Rocksteady's making a Superman game," but they're not.
Oh.
They're making a Suicide Squad game. But
Ooh.
the Suicide Squad game, the poster it's Superman with a bullet with the target on his head.
Yeah,
So
like,
so Superman is in the game, but you are the Suicide Squad attacking the Justice League.
Ooh, that's
So the whole
pretty
time when people are
nutty.
like, "Yo, they're making something related with Superman," we are, but not how you thought you were getting it, which is kind of interesting.
That's
I wonder how it's gonna be. Like, who you gonna play as?
cool. I think you're gonna probably play as an array of them and do
Yo, what
specific
if-
stuff.
What if they
Yeah.
do the Ultimate Alliance? Because you never, you
Nah, this is
can't
the-
trademark that gameplay. What if
No,
you
you
do
can't,
that
no.
gameplay?
This
What
is
if
gonna
that's
be
the
Arkham
style?
Asylum.
Probably
Yeah.
play
It'll be
like
Arkham
certain
Asylum.
like play certain missions.
Well,
kinda
yeah, I
like
guess
geared
so. It is
towards that
Rocksteady, but
member of the Suicide
They need to
Squad.
do something new if it's going to be next gen. They have to
Well,
upgrade
it's the same
because
engine, but
all-
you'll be doing different
well, listen,
things.
all Arkham was the Shadow Mordor game.
Wasn't Arkham first?
I can
Uh,
imagine. I have a scenario in my head about that game right now. Deadshot shoots a kryptonite bullet at Superman, and it misses, and it hits him like in the back,
Mhm.
and he gets weakened, and you beat the shit out of him as Killer Croc.
You think you'll
That'd
play
be
as
really
Killer
cool.
Croc?
Like, I mean, but I'm just saying.
I feel,
that, like,
I
if
feel
you're
like
going
they'll,
off the
I feel
cinema-
like
I
they'll
think you go- I think you
emphasize
go
on
through the whole game,
Harley
yeah.
and
You go through the whole game and
and-
lose. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But still, though, like it would still be pretty cool to like have those
I think
type
you might
of
win. Actually, no,
things.
I think you're gonna win. It's a
Nah.
Rocksteady game, and they do some weird shit in their games, so I feel like you might win. You don't always win in the Arkham games.
Well, at the
You
end-
fuck
at
up.
the
No.
end you do.
Not really though, because then it goes back and it's like, oh wait, he's back again.
Well,
Yeah, but you still win at the end of the day. That's
Yeah.
how that's how every comic book works.
I
Yeah.
never felt like I won in those games. I always
How?
felt like there
Remember,
was
Billy.
more to do.
You
You
beat
lock the Joker up the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he comes back.
Yeah, but then you beat him again.
But that's every fucking comic
It's
book.
boring though.
Batman,
in a
Batman,
game, it's
Batman
boring.
wouldn't have
Billy,
gone
they've
for,
been doing it for 75
up!
or 80 fucking
Change it
years.
up. Let me
it
be
has
Bruce
worked.
Wayne. Let me be Bruce
there's
Wayne.
not going to be a game where you're Bruce Wayne and the Joker kills you at the end.
That would be dope.
Would you really enjoy that? Seriously.
I would
seriously.
definitely
So,
enjoy that.
Yeah, the whole game, you do no fighting. because you're Bruce Wayne.
yes. I just want a life
And then the
simulation
Joker
of Bruce Wayne,
shoots
and then
you.
Joker kills me. Yes.
Here's what you need to do. You just go buy The Sims.
Yeah, and
Literal
then do that.
playtime.
Make
Literal
it-
playtime.
Make character Bruce Wayne.
I feel like I've been the heel this entire episode.
Yeah, you're making no sense.
No, you're worse than me.
I don't think
Yeah, you're-
all
Maybe
civilian
I'm saying
games
that.
is
It's
gonna
bad, Billy.
ever do well.
I just want a super. Okay.
There was a whole game where you were Bruce Banner, and the Bruce Banner level sucked.
yeah. I
'Cause
know.
you,
Yeah.
you snuck around pipes, and it's like I just want
I
to
get
That
that,
was a
but I
Sega
want a
Genesis
game
game, and
where
you died easy,
Where you
too.
play as the villain, or even not play as the villain, but like the villain wins. I want that game.
Billy.
What's wrong with that? The Predator game, you got
Billy,
that.
can
Yeah,
you
but
imagine
that's
this
practically a
concept? This
villain.
is your video
But the
game
Predator,
idea right now.
but you're either Arnold or you're the Predator, and then you kill the aliens.
If
at
you
the end.
do it right, though, it should complete the story, or it continues the story and like, oh, they didn't kill his son, and now you're like a new character. Because they do that shit all the time.
I don't know why you want to lose at the end of the game.
Because we win all the
We're
time.
too fair-
we need
we're-
we need a game where we lose, and then we're like, oh well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, you're going to. You're going to lose the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and
There you go. This game's perfect for you.
And you lose as a consumer because you spend $60 on a game that you
lose.
lose.
You want to lose all the time?
And
Go
you
play Dark
sat there,
Souls.
and there's
Yeah,
going to be
you
an
lose all the time.
achievement on your Xbox
Or there
that
should
says
at least be a thing. There
did
should
absolutely nothing. 72
Loser.
hours sat there of gameplay.
But
Instead-
it
let's
should
say for
play
3
Bruce Wayne
days.
for 50 hours.
Or there should at least be an ending where like you can lose or you can win, and then you have to play through those levels.
Well, then
again.
it's like a game where you're good or bad, kind of like
that,
Mass
and then
Effect.
there's like alternate stuff that you can do.
Right,
then,
let me
too.
tell
Like,
you,
to get
at-
like a bad ending, good ending, true
yeah,
ending.
and why can't you do that in the comic book universe?
At the end of Borderlands 1, when the fucking vault opens and you fight the boss, and you're like, okay, now I get the stuff that's on the vault. Oh no, the vault opened and the boss came out, and now you can't go.
Well,
in. I, was like,
never liked.
fuck this.
I
game.
never liked the Borderlands series.
It was fun, but I was like,
anyway.
that ending is shit because you lost.
You know what game did that to me too? Jack and Dexter 1.
Oh,
I,
really? I
I
never
collected
played.
every single coin you possibly can and went to the final gate. And they're like, "You've collected everything. Here's the gate." And it shows Jack and Dexter, and it's just a view of them of the gate looking at them, and they all turn gold, and they go, "Wow." End credits.
Ugh.
I was like,
I was like, what a
What?
cop out here, Borderlands
Yeah.
1. I'm like,
What?
oh, this is. ugh.
now I don't know much about. I didn't watch it as a kid, but Cheesewood said I always liked Beast Wars and Transformers as kids.
Oh my
Oh,
god, I
yeah.
love Beast Wars.
Sometimes the Decepticons won, and at the end of the episode, as a kid, you'd be like, "Holy shit, the bad guys!"
yeah,
did it."
exactly.
Yeah, but then at the end of the season, the good guys win.
Yeah.
But then you can get a new.
I never watched Beast Wars though.
Then you
Yeah,
can
Beast
continue the
Wars, they
game
actually
though.
mixed
If
up.
you
Good
lose and there's
reference,
a sequel
Cheesefoot.
to a game, are you gonna be mad that you played through and lost, but now there's more to the story? Like, is that gonna make you upset? Or what if they introduce a character
I'm telling you,
at the end
there's
of
not
the
a game where I want to be Bruce Wayne, and there's not a game where at the end Batman dies that I want to play.
Like it's okay.
He doesn't have to die, but like you
Look,
can't
Billy.
win every time.
Well, then don't play the game.
look, Billy. It's
Go
okay.
play Dark Souls.
Okay.
And turn up to the highest
Yeah.
difficulty.
Yeah, you
And then
go
you'll
and do
lose-
that.
you'll
You do
lose
I'm
that.
sad that no
For
one
hours.
gets what I'm saying. Though.
Okay,
It's like
I think what
winning
you're
every
trying. I
fucking
think what
time.
you're trying to say is, it's 99.9% the good guys, and you just want to see like if there's
That
like
0.1%.
chains of like 2 or 3 episodes of like shows have the villain win those 3 episodes, and it feels great.
Yeah.
But
But
they're
we're
not going to
talking-
win
We're
all the
talking
time.
TV and not a video game. So going
yeah.
into Avengers Endgame, right? We knew there's 2 parts, so we knew no matter what happens in a part
Mhm.
1,
Avengers gonna.
they are
win.
probably going to go down. They're going to go down on
Yeah.
on a low note.
And did you
Mhm.
not
Would-
like that first part?
Would you buy?
Yeah, but then do you want them to lose again in the second part?
Would you buy a $60 video game, knowing that there's going to be a part 2 next year that you have to pay another $60 for?
Depends if it's good.
I wouldn't.
I think I would.
Now,
Because
if
I
they-
already
you
do
would
that
play-
on games
you
that don't even fucking change. I
Alright,
already do
so-
that on games
so
that don't change
You
at
would buy
all.
a $60 game. Wait for. So what if Grand Theft Auto ended on a note where the characters are going to go on, right? And now you're still waiting 7 years for that next part 2.
You do that already.
But I'm saying now you're Batman, and you want to know
Nico
why.
dies at the end. Well,
you
what's
wanna
his
know
name
what-
died at the end? Red Dead. So there you go.
Yeah, and then they made it anyway.
Arthur.
James
Well,
Marsden.
they did a
Yeah.
prequel.
No,
And so like why does it like I don't know. I just don't understand. Like some people play for the specific ending
Well,
and like that's cool.
Actually,
but like
let me get back on target here because I think we're talking.
oh, we're
Red
going
Dead.
back to yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah,
we're talking Red Dead. We're talking this.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the idea of a superhero video
yeah,
game.
yeah.
Now, you play as Batman, so you're gonna wait another 4 years for the next Batman game to come out to find out why you lost.
Well, I'm not saying 4 years, but I'm just saying like you know that there's going to be a sequel soon. Like what if it's a 2-part thing, which is what games are already doing with Hitman and shit like that. They're already putting out specific parts. If you did that with a comic book type game, like I feel like that would work. You can't do that with the Hitman series and have it be like, oh, you're just killing someone
most
somewhere
so
else.
Are
Comic
you
book
trying
games
to
take
go
a
off of
couple
like a Final Fantasy VII remake approach where they're doing a part 1 and a part 2?
Well, they're doing that
Yeah, well,
already.
I'm
But,
just
but
saying,
who knows
like,
when part 2 is gonna come out? for
Yeah,
that.
So like you know how we're talking about like, oh,
I'm
there's
trying
games
to
where
I'm trying
like
to pinpoint it too.
there's games where like every day or every year there's going to be a new update, right? With comics, why can't you do that if comic book characters?
Because they usually don't do that for games or every couple
Yeah.
years.
I get that they don't do that for games, but that would make sense. If you're doing comics and different series, you could do that every
like,
year.
they
Add
thi-
more.
but
to
a
the
lot of times
story.
they think of it like we might not get a sequel. This might be it.
yeah, you don't know rights.
Yeah, we
So-
don't, it might
so-
not. It might bomb.
Sure, the rights might go, or the game might not be as popular.
That's
Yeah,
true,
They
I
usually
guess.
don't have sequels in mind. Like a lot of times, like Arkham when they made Arkham Asylum, like they were making that, but it could have bombed. So they didn't say, well, they probably had ideas
Yeah.
if we get a sequel. but like,
I just think it would.
I
I
think
just
that
It's
was
very
a
hard to
Batman
translate a
game.
one comic book, because if you talk about a comic book,
It has to be a specific.
there's usually
story,
not a conclusion at the
specific
end of every
character.
one of your comic
Yeah,
books.
'cause
Right.
So I
'cause
know
they were-
I think you're
it's
trying to put in
continuity.
an 12 page comic book into a 12-hour video game.
21. Or
If it
23
makes it to
pages.
12 hours.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how long you
Yeah,
play and if you go
You
through
can
Spider-Man.
drag
if
it
you go
out,
if you go
yeah.
through all the
6
collectibles and stuff. But if I played a 12-hour game and got no conclusion and then I had to wait, I would be pretty pissed about it.
That's
Yeah.
fair. I guess that makes sense. If you play only for so long and then you're like, oh well.
Because now
fucking
here's a problem that I
whatever.
have with video games now. What we kind of talked about with what game was I playing that I just felt like I was like, what the fuck? This kind of annoyed me. Shadow of Mordor. I actually stopped playing it because the story I couldn't get the story because I went and played Shadows of Mordor, right?
Oh, you're talking
And
about Shadow of War.
And I played
Yeah, the
this.
second
I
one.
played this
Yeah.
dude, and I made him the fucking king of Middle Earth.
Mhm.
This dude knew how to fight. Everything was perfect. He was the beast. And then I go into Shadows of Mordor, and then he's just like, I don't know how to do anything again. So it's like, so I kept the same character. I've already progressed the story.
Then that's not a good sequel. Then that's not.
But-
that's
but
not-
but
some
a
people-
lot
way they
of, but a lot
didn't-
of video games do God of
But-
War.
but they
At the
have
end
to
of-
do that
at the end of God of
because-
War 1, you're this monster,
You should
and
start
then
out.
you lose all
okay,
your powers
So
again.
the point is like you should start out with
But what
like
if
a
you just bought-
tutorial. But
yeah.
what if you continue on and you have to fight harder enemies? That's what
you
I'm
never
saying.
played the first Shadows of
Yeah.
Mordor. You bought the second one right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should you be awesome off the bat? Because you
No,
never played the first
That's
one.
what I'm saying though.
And
if you
look at
haven't
it this
played it
way,
before,
too,
you
you're-
should. You
I
get
mean, there's some
beginner
things in games
for a
like
reason.
you have
Yeah.
to do.
And
But-
really
but
looking at
if
this
you
way,
shoot
too.
a bow and arrow,
Yeah.
and you're an amazing shot at
In the
bow
first
and arrow,
game
in
and
the
you're the
first game,
same
and in the
character?
second game you're like,
Yeah, but
what's
you-
a bow and arrow?
But again,
How
again-
do I do this?
Again, you just bought the second game. You never played the first game.
But
Yeah.
why would you
There's
do
people
that?
that like that.
Why would you do that?
'Cause- well, then what do you do then? Do you keep every game? You're
either
stronger and
change
stronger?
change your character altogether and
Yeah.
make a new character storyline, or when you start the game, give yourself at least a baseline
An
that you know
option,
how to
maybe.
use. Fucking so I can
What
understand the
level?
fact.
What level should the second guy start at? The second game character start at then?
But you should at least carry over some of your abilities.
Yeah,
So let me
but
just.
some people aren't
okay,
playing
I
the
can
first
agree.
one, you know
I
what I'm
can
saying?
kind of agree with.
That's your fault
the-
for buying
the s-
part 2.
The set
Yeah,
of
no,
if, I,
no.
if I go buy
I mean-
Beyond Two Evils Part 3 comes
someone
out.
bought it for Christmas for you. Hey, I got this game for you. It looks cool.
Oh, Beyond Two Souls. Is
Yeah,
that what you're talking
yeah.
about?
So,
You forget how that shit works.
I
or
don't
whatever?
think you should say. I mean, you have to have the game like it's like a fighting game. Okay, there's god characters.
There
and
has to
humans.
be a tutorial,
If
right?
the god character is so strong, he just kills all the humans, then the game's unbalanced. So
Yeah.
you can't make a new
Well,
game.
that's your job as a developer to balance the game out.
Exactly.
If
Yeah.
you're picking Part 2.
But people are coming into
but I'm
to
saying
the
you have to
idea
start off
of oh, a
fresh.
god character, I can rip through this.
Yeah.
But again, like you're really looking at the balance of it. So like,
If you're
yeah,
awesome to
of
start the
course,
second
like
game,
Thanos can rip through Spider-Man, but at the same time, though,
you
like
have to make the game playable.
yeah, and
Yes,
like
the Jedi can cut all the fucking stormtroopers in half, but if you do that,
Yeah.
then there's no challenge to the game. So if you go on the second one and you're awesome, you have every single move, then
and
the game
everyone's
should be-
gonna play.
The game
yeah,
should be
as
easy,
those-
right?
Yes.
And play
Now,
as those specific characters.
I'm
then
not
too, and
saying
nobody
I'm not saying
else.
that the game should be easy, but the fact that you fucking have to
You
learn how
work
to
all
walk
you
of
again.
that
you grind it
effort,
through the
yeah.
first game and then
There
the second
should be
game.
there should be a reward
Okay.
for
So do you
returning
want?
characters.
Here we go. Do you want nobody in the world to just only play the second game?
No. I
No,
think that there
but-
should be
but
a
if-
reward for the returning the returning players. Like they've been
Well,
doing
then
that.
So in a
how
way,
do you also cater to people that are playing the game for the first time on the second game?
There should be options. I feel like there should
Or just-
definitely be
or-
options.
Did you beat the first game? Yes or no?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
no,
yeah.
Or in the beginning of the game,
No,
be like,
they should
hey,
have, like, your save file.
previously on
Previously,
this game.
yeah, exactly.
Here's what they should do.
I
They
don't
should,
mind that.
Like if they have the save file and you could do like certain carryovers
Mhm.
of certain things
like Saints
to
Row.
the
Isn't that
second
a thing on
game.
Saints Row?
Because if you like we're saying here, if you had those characters and those generals from the first Shadow of Mordor and went to Shadow of War,
Yeah.
you could rip through the second game no problem, and it's going to take you
Yeah.
half the time or faster depending on what kind of psychopath you are,
Mass Effect.
and basically do
When
that.
you played Mass
Mass
Effect
Effect.
and you jumped into Part 2
It
without
carries
playing
over.
Part 1,
Mhm.
it gives you a previously on, and then you
Yeah, but
play
it
through
did
it,
not
yeah.
give you all the powers that the level 60
No.
character
no,
one
but you,
had.
but you didn't. You didn't feel
It's-
like your character was a fucking infant again when you
But
first
you
started.
were. You had one power. You had one gun. You were level 1.
So like, I'm just saying, like, if your
I mean, there's-
game,
there's a
if
way
y-
games
if
have to
your
work.
game, if your game started,
Yeah.
even in the first one, I started the game and I was able to do a sword attack, a block, and a fucking range attack,
Mhm.
and then I start the next Shadow of Mordor game and I can't even block or use a bow and arrow because all of a sudden I forgot how to do this.
Yeah, I mean, you
That's-
should have the basics of
yeah.
the first game, but I don't
That's
think
what
you should
we're
start.
saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like
You
That's
should
what we're
have
saying.
more than the
it
basics.
stripped me down to almost nothing.
You should at least have like if you say you learn a power in the first game.
Yeah.
Fucking South Park. Good example, South Park. You
Yeah.
learn a power in the first game.
Yeah.
Why do you have to relearn all the same fucking powers if you're the same character pretty much?
And what from
From in the second game, there's powers that you have to like relearn to throw fart and shit or whatever.
Well,
like
I mean,
well
they're
the,
different
the way
classes.
they get rid of that in the first one is you played as
you
DD,
played
I
as a
guess, yeah,
different
yeah.
It
but
was a
you
different-
still
different
need you still
universe,
need
yeah.
to use the same powers
so here's
and
my
then you
thing.
add on to it.
Here's my
You
thing.
add on
Shadows
to
of
that
Mordor
shit.
did one thing right. So all right, obviously in the first one I had all these these spiritual powers,
Mhm.
and the reason the way they justified that in the game where I lost all my spiritual powers is this woman took my ring, which took away my special
Right.
abilities.
And they could
so,
do that.
So I'm
They
cool
could
with
do
that,
that.
right? So I'm okay with the fact that I don't get to do all the spiritual things.
Yeah,
But like where I lose, I can't combine melee attacks, or I
Can't target
can't
an
shoot
enemy.
a bow and arrow, or I can't target an enemy, or I only get to swing my sword like this, and I can't backhand
Mm-hmm.
swing it because I don't like you. You forgot how to fight.
look at all the Assassin's Creed games.
Ex-
It's the best example of that. Is
You're-
like you're
you're-
fucking learning every time, and you're on the 17th sequel or
Not,
whatever.
not necessarily. Every time you start, they do a tutorial for the new player.
I feel
but
like-
you still get.
I feel like they strip you of shit too. I played the Black Flag, and it felt like I was stripped.
Well, you
within,
are
like,
playing
the
Well,
first
first
you don't
person
have you don't
thing.
have a level 5 sword, so
True.
you're not but you still know how to if you don't know how to use if you played Assassin's Creed 2 and you carry over 3, sure you lose your 5-star gun, your 5-star pistol, your 5-star everything, but if you knew how to counter and you knew how to counter fight and you knew how to shoot your gun and do the
Still be
buttons,
pretty good at the game.
you're
Yeah.
still going to be good at the game and you're still going to feel like rewarded for being a previous player. But like that game right there with the Shadow of Mordor, where I was like, I can't
you
fucking,
don't have.
So you
that.
felt
I can't stealth kill somebody.
You felt they
Gotcha.
took
I had
too
to
much
learn
away.
how to stealth kill.
Okay, yeah, that's bullshit because the first game is all that. The
It's-
first game is inciting fear, like in Batman. Like you
Mhm.
get the fear tactic, and then you have just the straight up fighting
I
tactic.
beat the first one, but I never played the second one. I
Yeah.
haven't. But apparently the second one had a lot of DLC stuff too.
The game, the second
Like-
one
like
is one of those
pay-
games.
First one
yeah.
has a lot of.
No,
the first one does too.
The
though.
second one almost went under
Yeah.
because they put so much of the game
on
behind
DLC.
paywall. Yeah.
Wow.
They paywalled the whole game because it was
Yeah.
EA.
Because
And
the
that's
first one I
why
know
it
they
bombed.
added like 3 different stories and then a different mode that you could do through
Yeah.
DLC.
Oh no, this is stuff that you have to do.
what?
Yeah, but that's
It's
all.
a Hitman.
No, to Shadows of Mordor.
Oh, okay.
So if you buy that game right now, all that's gone.
but
when
Shadow
that
of
game
War
first
was
came
like,
out,
yeah.
Shadows of War was behind all paywall.
That's exactly what
like that.
Hitman is, though. It's
Yeah.
you have to pay per
Yeah,
episode.
like
you have to
that.
pay per.
I actually just
story
got
mode.
Hitman 2. It was the $100 version of the game
for like what, $15?
for like $12 bucks.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
I never got into that series, and I played a
It's-
couple of PlayStation 2 and just.
I
Didn't
mean,
care
it
for
was fun like the first couple games, but then like you
All
were
right, well,
saying
guys,
earlier,
we are
eh,
running a little
Oh,
long
shit.
here, so we just hit the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
So
we
let's wrap
fucking
up
ripped
here. Honestly, I thought this was fun.
One more thing.
What?
Earthworm Jim came out. There was a little mini trailer for the Intellivision Amico, and
a new
it's
system.
yeah, that new system.
Ben's
it's like
talking about a
around-
new Earthworm
yeah,
Jim. Just
yeah,
to
it's a
keep
new
everyone-
Earthworm Jim that came out just recently, just with like a 30-second trailer. It looks very smooth. It's all hand drawn and animated, but it actually brings like the Earthworm Jim 2 first level music back. It's okay.
So they're going for like a nostalgia.
They're trying to go for the nostalgic feel. It does look a little bit cleaner. I know Kotaku did an article about it then too, but he was completely biased, and apparently the creator of Earthworm Jim got in some flack. So I don't want to get into that. But point being, though, Earthworm Jim came out.
Well,
You
nice.
actually got to see. Well, the Earthworm Jim trailer came out. So if you want to take a look at that,
Battletoads is available for download on.
I was just gonna
on-
say
on
that.
Game
Oh, is it?
Pass.
You can
Oh,
install
boy.
it,
You
but
can
I don't
install,
think
but
it
you
comes
can't
out
play it
till
yet.
the 24th, maybe.
20th.
Oh, okay.
20th.
I think it's the 20th. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's there for
It's
download.
cartoon-esque. It's like
It's hand drawn.
It's
Yeah.
it's-
It's hand drawn.
I'll be open about it.
Yeah, but it looks all right. Yeah.
I'll be open about it.
If it's
He
just a
showed me a video.
remastered Battletoads, then
It's
I'm
not. It's a different.
Oh, it's a
a
new
different
game?
art. It's a
It's
different art
like
style.
you know how Streets of Rage 4 is like new.
yeah,
Totally
but
new?
like, is it the same story? Like, are we playing through all the same levels, just a different art style? Like, is that all we're doing?
Yeah.
then?
Yeah.
They changed the art. They changed the way I mean, they kept them, I guess, to their thing, but
Like
they
you
did
know
change
how like
the
they
way-
did like the mega like pixelated versions of the Battletoads. This one's more like
Yeah.
all hand drawn and they look a little bit
Gotcha.
goofier.
He told me that the entire style of the game has changed, right? And then the one time we were sitting on his couch, and he showed me all these videos of old Battletoads, and I was like, Ben,
It's the same game.
It's literally just it's a modernized version. Like, you know how
It's
they're
still a side-scrolling beat 'em
he's
up.
like the new one looks way too cartoony and it's do this, and I'm like, it's just like even in the original one where they're like they go punch and then their fucking arm gets
Their arm
scorched.
turns into a fucking.
Yeah, and I was like, they keep all of that, but the
I
the
no,
art
I
style
understand
instead
his
of being
upset. I don't
ins-
I can understand him
but
being
instead of being
upset, though.
pixelated,
It's
it's
animated.
more of a cleaner look animation.
Yeah, it looks like a cartoon. That's all. And
Because-
I don't like that for games. I don't
So
like that.
you
for
want them
games.
to redraw them as pixelated characters?
No, I just think like, why not go for like a 3D approach if it's a 2D game already? If you want to
Like a
add that,
2.5
It's
D.
3D, but they still kept the cartoony feel.
yeah,
like
it's,
Streets
it's
of
like
Rage.
Rayman.
I think
the
Streets of
fuck-
Rage.
Yeah.
Legends or whatever, and I
Yes.
don't like that. I don't
No.
like
See,
Rayman.
I don't mind that.
Legends
Yeah.
style.
That art style.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. I don't like it. It's personally, I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's just how I
But
feel.
would you get rid of that style for every game?
I wouldn't do it for every game. Obviously,
No, I'm
there's
not.
a
I'm not saying. Would you
specific-
just say we can't do that?
Oh
anymore?
no, I think that it depends. I just don't play those games
Yeah.
though. I don't like that stuff. You know, I like platformers that are 2D. I like platformers that are 3D,
Oh,
and that's where I am.
I was playing that Carrigan game. I already gave up on it.
What's
Is it
that?
hard?
Yeah,
Is it
it's
hard?
fucking. It's not hard. Just annoying. Like he's like
Right.
you feel like you learn a new power and then you like it just doesn't explain anything. It's just fucking annoying me. So I
Oh.
stopped.
Sometimes the indie games are like that, where you're like, they're not well designed.
it's like pretentious. Like, oh, you need to be fucking.
A really well designed one is Shovel Knight, but it does have
It's
a learning
hard.
curve.
Yeah.
It has a really big
Yeah.
learning curve.
Billy, what you got to plug?
I want to plug that thing that they're
That thing.
there's
Yeah.
there's
You
a
know.
potential show, but I can't.
So what about your
say
your,
it yet.
your Twitch stream?
Oh yeah, we could plug my Twitch stream, the Converse Kid,
Yeah,
also
search-
on Instagram.
Yeah,
it's the
search Converse Kid on all social
There you
media.
go.
Yeah, it's cool. I do things.
Ben,
We're doing our Bang and Beers episode with the It's Just Beer podcast. Looking forward to that.
mhm.
And that's it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You're gonna-
That does not do
Dude,
good.
tune in Friday night.
Tune in Friday night.
Ben's gonna be Billy Trade.
Oh god. Oh, that's the travel one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll be taking him to the hospital. But
oh god.
But you guys aren't traveling.
he's planning for Saturday already. I'm concerned he's not
Oh,
gonna
that's
make it
the
on a
one.
Friday.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm lost.
But you guys aren't leaving. You're staying here, right?
No, we're going there.
Oh
we're
my
going
God.
there. Yeah.
We're gonna drive 3-4 hours to New York, and
Oh, jeez.
Ben's gonna be crippled by
Ben-
by 10:30 at night.
Why would you want to stay for 2
Why?
days? I know there might be great
Well,
guys.
I
but
mean, I plan on staying for 2 days, but I don't know how he's gonna do
don't know
2
how
days
he's-
of solid drinking.
I don't know why
drinking.
anyone would want to do 2 days.
I
of
don't
solid
I don't
drinking.
plan on I plan on sharing cans and,
Yeah.
and enjoying the beer and doing exactly what we meant to do by reviewing beer. I don't want to go there and be a frat boy for the weekend.
Yeah.
But he's gonna go for the gold medal as soon as we get there.
Mm.
I don't know if you got
As
the
soon as we
pe-
walk in, he's gonna crack 2 beers. He's
Woo!
gonna crack them together. He's
No,
gonna
no,
dump
no.
them down his
Yeah,
face.
it's gonna be college town.
No, if he has the
Woo!
peanut, no, he has to get the peanut butter, the tablespoon of the peanut butter.
Oh, he's gonna eat a
He'll
jar.
level
of
it out.
No, no.
He'll level it out.
He thinks that he
He's
says
gonna flip
peanut butter
the
makes you
table.
drunker.
Yeah, he'll level it out. Then he'll get it. He'll be like, okay, I'm good right now. I got it.
Remember, it's not called the Let's Get Drunk podcast.
No.
It's the Banging Beers podcast,
Where you review beers.
where you bang the beers
Not
together.
who
and
can
then
get
you're
the
like-
drunkest, right?
We'll see. Tune in Friday night. You'll
to
see how it
find
goes.
out.
Well, it's gonna be a great time.
Let's
I am excited to meet the guys finally and hang out with them in person. But I do have a fear that it's gonna turn into
No,
a frat boy.
Are you
show.
gonna be like doing it at their house or?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Friday night we're gonna record Banging Beers podcast as if
Mhm.
it's our show, and we're gonna be trying their beers from New York.
Mhm.
Okay.
Once again, I know we have show rules where we do like a certain amount, but it's probably gonna turn into fucking 850 beers.
Oh my
Just
God.
limit. You just gotta limit it. Then you gotta
Yeah.
be stern about it.
I
You gotta
want,
be
I
like,
want to,
look.
I want to keep the structure of our show, but I also want to be respectable because we are going to visit them, and they, you know,
True.
and they're, you know what I mean. But
But to be fair, you guys are traveling to them,
yes,
so I think there has to be a little bit of like a host responsibility, and then like your own. You know, you guys got to put the structure together. But it seems like you hadn't
tune
done
in,
that yet.
Tune in Friday.
Tune
it's,
in
gonna be,
Friday.
it's gonna be a great time.
Oh my God.
Andy, what do you got to plug?
Oh, the time to yawn. Let's see. Well, we did the podcast yesterday, Truth Behind Illusion, and that did pretty well.
That was
so
a fantastic
yeah,
time.
you can check that out
I peeked in on that one. It was
on all
darker.
the
It's so good.
places where you can
I
find
like
this.
It. I
Yeah,
thought
it's
it was
interesting,
funny.
isn't it?
I thought it was
Isn't
really
isn't
good.
Tori a really good talker too? Like
Yeah,
a
I think
speaker?
that the
I guess I'm saying
structure.
that
Is,
wrong.
I literally said that on the ride over here. I was like, wow, she just kind of like has the personality. for
Yeah,
the-
yeah.
for
She's
the
not like
show.
tarot cards are
There we go.
about well. So well, this one, like, you're just like, fuck, I just spit it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, she does
And,
real
and
well.
Andy got his guest spot logo made.
Yeah. How about that? That's
so
awesome.
he's Andy the
So there's
Cthulhu.
3 now, and then who knows who will be the 4th?
Yeah.
Who knows? And she should do one for Heidi, just to do one.
Just
Yeah.
to do
Make
it.
Heidi like a vampire.
Heidi
or
said on the
Heidi's-
Heidi said on the front porch, "What would I be?" And I was like, "Well, you're really into horror movies, so I can't make you a horror movie because that's not part of the theme.
Mhm.
But I would just make me like." Because we may talk about like a serial killer or something, because that's part of it. Like especially if he's like possessed. So I'd make her like a possessed looking fucking psychopath with a fucking butcher knife.
Oh, okay. You can make her the Psycho's mom.
Yeah.
Psycho's
Or something.
mom.
I don't know.
Psycho's
We'll
mom.
figure something out.
The
Yeah.
Psycho's
Yeah,
mom,
yeah,
the
so that's out.
unlicensed the unlicensed horror
Yeah,
film.
so check
Psycho's
Truth
Mom.
Behind Illusion. If you like wrestling, go on YouTube and follow Outbreak Wrestling, because I'm going to have a couple new matches coming up there. Outbreak Quarantine. And
Nice.
and the wrestling podcast, too. So just
Good
click
job,
on all the
man.
links below this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Check out, like I said, if you're watching this on Twitch, we do stream every podcast here. If you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're watching this on any platform, do us the favor, click the links below and follow us on all social media. It does help us grow. When you see us or you're watching this maybe live or back later, hit the share button, let people know we're here. We do have a Facebook like page where you can go on and check the new shows ideas, or you can go to the group page and you can interact. So if you're online, you see an ad pop up for a brand new video game release, share it to the group page and let's get this conversations going and have a good time with it.
Yeah, because anyone can post on the group page.
Yeah, anyone
Yeah.
can go. And like I said, if you're someone who likes to go video game hunting, or you're yard sailing and you come across some cool finds, take some photos of it. Go live, do do your own video game review. If you're playing a game and you want to talk about what you're playing or watching, make the group page your home. Make it your own. I mean,
And if you want to play a game where you're the civilian of the version of the superhero, then
yeah.
go in there and post it.
If you are a ghost or know anything about ghosts, go to
Yeah,
the
if you're-
Truth Behind
you
Illusion.
have a
one.
ghost
Yeah.
computer.
Yeah. So, and also, if you check out the rest of the links there for the IWEP network, we have a bunch of cool stuff there. So, thank you guys once again for tuning in and hanging out with us. We really hope you like the intro now with the music there. We weren't doing that, but that's another thing too. Is check out Look Alive, Bandit of Pottsville. Really, really talented dudes. All their links are below as well. So we're gonna end here with some of their music. So take a listen to it. It's just a lot of guitar solo and it's sick. It's a sexy guitar solo. But check it out. Check all the links, like I said, below. And see you guys next time. We're out of here.